Okay, welcome. It is 7:04. Sorry we're running a little late this evening. But welcome to the Boxborough Select Board meeting. It is Monday, September 8th, 2025. And if you'd like to join me, we always start our meetings off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. So first up is public input. Is there anybody here who has anything that they'd like to discuss with us that's not actually on the agenda, either in person or online? Hello, Mr. Klein.
Hello. Give me a second. I have a summary I want to share with you. So one of the things that we're doing on the school committee is going to the boards and committees that we liaise with and giving you all a brief summary of what happened at our last meeting, so
I love that
both you're aware and the public who's watching your meetings can hear about what we've been doing at school committee as well. So our last meeting was last Thursday. As you know, we're in the process of what we're calling AB Forward, which is our strategic planning and reorganization process. We've brought on a consultant called the District Management Group, or DMG, to help us through that process. So
now, is that a new group?
They have been around for a while.
No, new to us.
New to us. What do you mean?
Are they the same ones that did the other?
No, so that was a New Solutions K through 12 was the consultant that we used last year on the elementary task force.
All right.
DMG is another really well-known nationwide education consulting group that we've worked with in the past.
Awesome.
So the majority of our meeting last week was about the update for the AB Forward process. DMG came and presented their diagnostic findings. So they spent the whole summer collecting information from the district, both qualitative and quantitative data. I'm sure several of you got survey questionnaires sent out that you filled out. They collected all of that data, and they basically summarized this into some main themes. We're seeing declining enrollment. We're seeing our student needs growing more complex. We hear that we've got excellent academics overall, but we still have persistent achievement gaps in some of those subgroups. And then obviously we've seen a lot of financial pressures from the rising costs of educating and our aging facilities. The next step is to finalize our strategic plan, so our sort of guiding principle, and this is a longer term thing. This is, we've been working on the last strategic plan for the past 5 or 6 years, so the idea is to put a strategic plan in for the next 5+ years. That should get finalized in our next meeting, which is tomorrow night. And then we'll start to look at reorganization scenarios. So it's super important to remind everybody, no decisions are made about what's happening with schools, how we're reorganizing. None of that's happened yet. We're having a strategic plan to figure out how we want to run our schools, and then we'll look at what are the best options for reorganizing the district to do that. Those scenarios will come through, get reviewed in October, and then we're going to come back for more community input. The school committee will ultimately be making a decision around December timeframe. So still lots of opportunities to get feedback from the community. Most of the major decisions about the changes that might happen have not happened yet, so there's still opportunity for the community to give us feedback. And in fact, thank you to Kelly. We'll have some announcements in the warrant that's going out for special town meeting about some of those public engagement opportunities that we have, so the public will get that. And lastly, we have a tri-board meeting scheduled for October 22nd. So we're hoping to bring the finance committees and select boards from both towns to the school with the school committee to really talk about what the strategic planning process is like and what are some of our concerns for the coming year. Both Acton and Boxborough have a lot of things going on, debt exclusions, financial concerns, so we thought it'd be a good opportunity to bring everybody together and start to share that, so we've got a sort of communal message on what we're working on. So that's the update from the school committee.
I love it. All right, thank you very much. Any questions for Adam before he sits down?
Don't sit down, Adam.
Trying to get
I need the leader. Yeah.
The consulting firm,
Yeah.
did they take into consideration the future housing that's going in Acton and how enrollment will probably increase?
So they have, they haven't necessarily taken into account the future housing. What they've done is taken the data that exists already. So through the enrollment estimates that we already have through NESDEC, which is the agency that we get our enrollment information from every year, they've collected that data as well. So what they have is the last enrollment projections, which were done probably around this time or so last year, then we might have had another update. And all of the history sort of backwards and all of the projections moving forward. So it was done whatever that last time was. If there have been additional properties and developments that have been approved since then, they might have done some of that. I'm hearing word that there's even more property development that's happening in Acton. I don't know where the timeline fits on that.
Okay.
But we're talking maybe somewhere between maybe 10 to 50 students, depending on the size of those developments.
Isn't that they're like affordable / 40B housing, like
Do you mean the apartments going in on Powder Mill Road?
Exactly.
Yes.
Powder Mill
Yeah,
Road
it's
across
not a
from
40B.
Wendy's.
It's apartments. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think we have some data that we know from both Avalon and Acton and Paddock here that
Okay.
oftentimes what the developer and even the town assume is the enrollment or the number of students that might be in those tends to be a lot more. I'm walking Paddock every morning during bus drop off and I'm seeing lots and lots of kids. So
Yeah.
I mean, I think what we will consider is what we have for true data from the projections and then that possibility of additional development.
Okay. Anything else? All right. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
Anybody else have any public input? Seeing none, we'll move right along. Let's move to announcements. We have an upcoming RAD Women's Self-Defense class. I believe that was in our packet. Do you want to put it up? Oh, wait a second. We have a little something first. Well, Bob, tell us what you're doing up there. Where were you? Just randomly wandering around the streets somewhere?
Yeah, so yes, this is a picture of me. This was going back until I think it was the fall of last year, or the spring, and this was at the MMA annual conference held in the Seaport of Boston. And I was the unlucky one chosen when we registered for the conference, and they asked all the elected officials who were there participating in the conference, why do I serve and why did I choose to become a select board member again? And as you can see, that's my answer, and they clearly got a chuckle out of my answer, and they decided to post it on all of their newsletters that went out today and all of their publications that went out as well. And for those who can't see it, I will unfortunately read it, and my answer is because I'm crazy again. But the real answer is I love to help the people of Boxborough, and that is what it is.
Yay! We love that you're on the select board. Thanks for running.
So of all of the 3 to 5 member boards in all of the 351 communities in Massachusetts, Bob was the one chosen to be in this month's MMA publication. So
Well, we're honored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and that and $5 will buy me a cup of coffee.
he's holding up the board because he spilled a cup of coffee on his way.
Exactly.
That's what it is. You're hiding the coffee stain. I love it. That's awesome. Well, congratulations. Enjoy your 15 minutes of fame.
15 seconds.
15, whatever it is, the 15.
Great.
It's all good. All right. Okay, so back to...
Yeah, I have one more announcement.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Thank you. I just would like the board to acknowledge, and I personally wanted to acknowledge that we have a birthday in town, and one of the youngest members of our community, Barbara Burt, has risen to the ripe old age of 90. I'm sorry, Barbara, for embarrassing you.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday,
Barbara.
I thought it was well deserved and well earned for Barbara being 90 years old and for everything she does for the town, has done, and from where she's going right now, will continue to do.
That's right.
As for the town. So happy birthday, Barbara.
Happy birthday. Are you here tonight, or maybe you're out doing something fun?
She'll watch it tomorrow.
Well, a lot of times she's on at our meeting. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, I hope you're out having some cake somewhere. That'd be good. Okay. Back to other community announcements. The women's self-defense class. Are you here to tell us about it? Thanks, Chief. Thanks for coming in tonight.
Absolutely, I can't top those last 2 announcements. So.
They're pretty fun, aren't they?
And John Shevchik, Chief of Police here in Boxborough. Kim is on as well.
Oh, hey, Kim.
So real quick, really just wanted to come and quick background on this program and just put an announcement out that we're doing it again. Officer Erica Abro is a part-time officer here in town. She came on about 2 years ago. She's a captain at a university police department, but she works here part-time. She's certified in RAD, which is Rape, Aggression, Defense. It's a women's only self-defense course, and it's 4 weeks, 3 hours long, a week for 4 weeks. She did it in April, and we got about 7 people signed up, and they all had a tremendous time and really learned a lot, and we're really happy with it. We're going to do it again next year. However, Boxborough News did a terrific article on it, and she got about 6 or 7 emails from people saying they were interested.
Excellent.
So we moved it up to the fall, so we're
Okay.
doing it in October, and we already have 5 people registered. We just put it out last week. So we're already up to 5 people registered, and it's on the website, it's on our Facebook site, it's on the town website. So Kim can talk a little bit more about the program. She advertises a lot with the Council on Aging, but it's really for anybody 16 and over, any female 16 and over, and it's a terrific program that had a lot of success. So I don't know if you want to add anything, Kim?
Well, just that it's free, I think that's important. Thank you to the Boxborough Police Department for spearheading this and manning it. Erica has to get, Officer Albro has to get several people that are certified RAD instructors and aggressors, quote unquote, to help her put the program on, but she runs the instructional part, and people do learn how to defend themselves if there's any kind of aggression that they deal with. And we had such great responses. I signed up for this time.
All right.
So there are a couple other Boxborough Town Hall employees that are joining us, and I put that challenge out to all of you. Please take a look at the poster. It's posted at several different places. You can contact me or Officer Abro to sign up, and we'd be happy to have you. And I think it's worthwhile to spend 4 nights of your life to learn how to protect yourself if anything should happen. So
Sure.
please join us.
Thank you. Okay, Rajan, is this on the front page of the website? Where, if people wanted to find it on the town's website, do we know if it's, or could it be?
Yeah, it's on the front page. of the
Awesome.
website.
Awesome. I thought I remember the colors, so I was like, oh, I think it's already there. But okay, so if you're interested in attending, you must attend all 4 sessions. They are free. They're held here at the town hall, and they'll be on Wednesday evenings from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. So it is free. You must attend all 4 sessions, and it sounds like it'll be a combination of instruction and hands-on experiences.
Yes.
Okay, so well worth your time.
There is a QR code on the poster that
Yep.
will link you in to the
Yep.
registration.
Yep, so that's why I was asking if it was on the website. So I'm assuming that people can click the QR code in the website.
Oh, there's the link.
Yes.
You take a picture with your phone.
Okay, well, no, when I do QR codes, you can actually click them too. They're both.
Oh, it's a hot
Like
link.
that, yeah, I do hot links on mine.
It's-
Okay, so you can take a
Yeah, hot
picture
link
of the
on
QR code and you'll be fine. All right, but let's, yeah, this is awesome. Thank you so much for bringing
Absolutely,
me
and it's
back.
the first 2 weeks and the last 2 weeks. There's going to be a week off in between because of town meeting. So
Ah,
Mike caught that. Thank you.
that is a good catch.
So
'Cause
it
we
is,
definitely want to see you all at town meeting too. Okay.
Absolutely. So thank you.
Has this
Excellent.
been advertised
Thank
in,
you.
on the high school?
Well, you have to be
Something.
18 or older, did you say, or
Yeah,
16? What'd you say?
16.
16
or older.
Yeah,
Yeah, high school kids would do it for sure.
high schoolers.
We can send it over
I
there.
think that, I think it'll be very beneficial for
We
them.
did have a high school
especially if
student the last session. A high school student and her mother did it together. They were
Yeah.
2 of the 7.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can send that over. I think that's a good idea. And
Definitely.
Because they'll be heading to college next year. And
We want our girls to be safe.
safe.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Pri. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, absolutely.
all right. Thank you very much.
Okay. And actually, if you've got enough high school kids, maybe you did a high school class. I don't know. I'm not going to volunteer anybody to do any additional classes that are already being offered.
That's good.
But great.
Thank you.
I kind of did. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Thank you.
I said I wouldn't. Thank you. Okay, next up, selective invasive species control of Japanese knotweed. Mike, are you taking this one?
Yes. So, we have a resident in town who works for Oxbow Associates who has come forward and volunteered to do some selective spraying with an herbicide to take care of this invasive species called Japanese knotweed. And so this proposal went to the Conservation Commission. They voted last week or the week before at their last meeting unanimously to recommend the town do this. So I went and signed a contract with them to do some selective. It's basically a 225-foot-long area along Hill Road as a demonstration of what this kind of herbicide will do. And they're going to take some pictures before and after, write up a report, present that to the town, just as a demonstration of what can be done to control this invasive species. So the plan is to do this during September, so I didn't want to waste any time where the proposal was free. It seems like it's highly advantageous to the town, so they're going to go ahead and do that this month. But I thought it was worth the board at least commenting on it, and at least making the public aware that this is going to be going on. I did have conversations via email with David Kuntz from the Conscom, as well as our DPW director, Ed Kukala, who said that, it would be fine if they do that. He didn't see any issues as long as we notified the residents along that stretch that the spraying is going to be done. It'll be done only as far back as the stone wall or within the public right-of-way.
So I want everyone to know, if you could see me, I'm not on Instagram or anything. I actually was Googling Japanese knotweed. Japanese need.
It's right outside Town Hall.
Yeah, it's literally right outside.
Yeah, we have
well,
it.
now that I see the picture of it, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's everywhere.
Yeah,
it is a fast-growing shrub-like perennial plant that can grow up to 10 feet tall with bamboo-like hollow stems with reddish-brown blotches and enlarged nodes. The leaves are oval or heart-shaped, 6 inches long, 4 inches wide. And in July and August, they produce small white flowers in a lace-like cluster. And that's actually what I recognized was the lace-like clusters.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. So Mike, it's a quick question. So with this sampling down on Hill Road, if it proves to be beneficial in that it's killing it, what would be the plan then? To spray it on every road, or have you thought about that?
So there is no plan ahead yet. I would assume that they would come back and make a recommendation to the town. And I don't know if that would also be without fee or if there would be a proposal attached. We would have to see what comes. But I think this at least shows the validity of what this treatment would do as far as killing off this invasive species. And it's supposed to be, pretty benign as far as humans and animals and others. But, Sam, I think probably has some familiarity with this now. But there
not
are
with the species, but I think the town struggles with invasives control, and
Yeah, we do.
I'm thrilled to hear that Oxbow's
Yeah.
coming to town, and I look forward to thinking more about this.
But doesn't Oxbow work in town? I thought they saw an office here, no?
They have an office in Acton.
Oh.
The resident who brought it forward, of course, lives here in town. They do work in town in a different capacity.
Okay.
So they also do wildlife, studies as far as protected wildlife and things like that. I was at a Conscom meeting, in fact, when Sam was still the chair, when they were looking at the 502 Mass Ave property where the current fire station is, and they, I believe it was the engineer for the town who went and reached out to Oxbow to find out were there any, protected species or wildlife that the town needed to worry about, if that site was developed. And it turns out there were. So they do that sort of consulting service for the town, and in fact, many towns in the area. They do all kinds of. So the gentleman who approached the town is a licensed pesticide and herbicide professional, but also they do other kinds of work as well.
And people on Hill Road will be notified in advance of this happening?
Yes, the ones within the area that's within the 225-foot area that's going to be where it's going to be applied.
All right, so it's just an isolated section of the street.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. Sounds good.
Kristen,
I'll
I
say
did
it,
the same thing you did after
You
I.
Googled it?
Well, I did.
Because I thought it was the same as pokeweed, but pokeweed is different.
Yeah, so, I didn't know much about it. I'd heard of it, but I didn't know what it looked like. And recently I was on a cycling ride with my wife, and we covered, the three-town area down where I live, and this stuff was everywhere. I mean, it really is. It takes over an area, unless it's removed, and it can be physically removed or also chemically removed. But then it seemed like, from what I was reading, that it's important to then put in other species that are not invasive and replant it, so the stuff doesn't just grow back.
Sam, did you have something to add?
Every conservation property and even town-owned property has an issue with invasives. It might not be Japanese knotweed, it might be something else. Oriental bittersweet is a big problem.
Bittersweet, yeah, or the loose strife.
But I mean, we're getting a free service out the top here, but we need to dig into this in partnership with the Conservation Commission and all other town-owned land.
Is that something we should, as select board, be asking Conscom to take a look and maybe?
They're looking at it.
They're already looking at it. Okay, all right. Well, they should keep us surprised then.
Yeah, this is a nice little freebie, but.
All right, all right. Any questions or comments from the public around this? Seeing none. Now, what I did see is that Barbara Burt has joined us. Barbara, happy birthday. Are you there? You were there a second ago. There she is.
Oh,
Well, we hope you had cake tonight.
I'll have to go watch the recording because I missed it.
Oh, well, we'll do it again. Happy birthday, Barbara. Bob has some nice words to say, and thank you for all you do for the town, and we hope you had a great day.
And thank you for the time that they all of them do for us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Okay. Well, you can go back and watch anyway. Bob had some really nice words to say, so definitely don't miss it. All right, next up, Steel Farm Committee. Are you here to tell us about your new member?
I am.
Awesome. That's exciting.
Hey guys, Christopher Heideck. I am the chair of the Steel Farm Committee, and we have a new member that would like to join our committee, and his name is Ray, and he's fairly new to the town. I think less than 6 months, around there, and he's volunteered for 3 or 4 things already. He and his wife just so excited about being in Boxborough. I met him. He's very enthusiastic, and he can't wait to go and start mowing, which I'm excited about. So I appreciate.
He hasn't lived here long enough yet.
Yeah, right. He'll get jaded after a while, but we definitely appreciate that, and definitely could use the help on the committee. So we appreciate his nomination.
Could you, if he's coming from the city, could you play Green Acres really loudly on a speaker while he's riding the
Oh
tractor?
my gosh, I could. I know that by heart. I sang that
doesn't?
to my kids when they were young, because I'm weird like that.
I think that'd be really fun if you had speakers coming off a Steel Farm.
Yeah,
while
we
he's mowing.
can maybe do that. It's a big farm, though. That would be maybe a noise problem, but that's fine.
Fine. Everyone used to rain in my parade all the time. Yeah, then we could have parties at Steel Farm. It would just be the beginning of a lot of fun.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I did read a little bit about Ray. He likes to play the drums. He does woodworking. He's a mechanical engineer by trade, so a real jack of all trades here, Renaissance man, and we're thrilled he's joining the committee.
Yeah,
Awesome. And he likes to mow, apparently.
and he likes to mow.
Okay. All right. I do not have yes, I do. I move to appoint. Do you know how to say Ray's last name?
I do not. I didn't get that far in our relationship yet.
All right. I'm going to assume it's San. What do you all think? S-A-N-N-E.
Sure.
That would be my guess.
All right. I move to appoint Ray San to the Steel Farm Committee for a term ending June 30th, 2028.
Second.
Any further discussion? Now, did he tell you what he loves about Boxborough?
Mowing.
Make it up, Chris.
Make it up.
Make it up. Either that or he's going to
He
come.
loves to mow. He loves grass.
He loves Steel
He
Farm.
loves Steel Farm,
He does love Steel Farm, but he's been here 6 months, and he is already been in Pfeiffer's Day.
Uh-huh.
He and his wife are dressed up in full regalia, And
Okay.
he's joined like 2 other clubs, and like he's raring to go, man.
All right,
He
okay.
loves being Ray.
All right.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? That is unanimous. We are very happy to sign his appointmentship, and thank you for coming in tonight. We
Thank you
appreciate
guys,
it.
appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank you
Chris,
very much.
and welcome, Ray.
Welcome, Ray.
That's right. New business. We are moving on to the Council on Aging, MART Transportation Services Contract and Drugs and Alcohol Policy Opt-in. So who wants to take that one?
Sure. Kim D. and I can both take that one.
Okay.
She's presenting this, or has, to the Council on Aging Board, and we brought it here. This thing is super long. The main thing you need to know is it's an extension of what's already happening. There's a contract for another 3 years of the MART services for Council on Aging. This is separate from our Boxborough Connects bus route, although the vans look almost the same.
Yeah.
So there's 2 parts. There's one, signing the 3-year agreement, and, submitting the cost for reimbursement to the town. And then the other part is to agree to extend our drug testing program for the drivers of this, which already happens, and we have a plan to extend that. So
that's what the opt-in is?
Yes.
The drug and alcohol. In other words, I'm assuming that you're not allowed to do drugs or drink alcohol when you're driving. I'm assuming that's the short policy?
It is. And we already do random testing of our drivers, so this is no change to what we're already doing.
Sure.
Yep, so all the drivers have already signed on for this. And I don't know if Kim has anything she'd like to add. I don't know if the Council on Aging has already met or will soon meet
They
to
did
discuss
today,
this.
today.
Okay, today, good.
Yep.
Oh, you're muted somehow. Hold on.
Hold on.
We'll fix you.
There you go.
Try again.
Um,
You should have gone me.
The random, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, the random drug testing involves all parties that have anything to do with MART. So I was chosen randomly to go for that last week. So it's not just the drivers, both the dispatch, anyone involved with MART, and our drivers are ready, willing, and able to do that. Of course, we have to keep them up to date on trainings as well, and that's part of the contract. And MART lets us know when those trainings are happening. The only thing that I really found in the contract that doesn't really apply right now are the fare structures. It's on page 9 of the contract, and reason being, our fare structure is on hold right now because MART has a grant, and all fares are free. So we don't have to incorporate any of our fares for the ridership, which is throughout MART. So even in the cities of Pittsburgh and Lone Star, they ride the MART transportation services for nothing right now. So that is not indicated in the contract, but I would think that what MART does overrides that, considering it's in our favor.
Sure.
But that was the only difference that I really could see. Rajan handles the insurance for the vans. So they, MART takes care of the transportation maintenance. They call us for oil changes, and if there's anything, we had to have a tailpipe replaced on our van recently. So all of that, both vans are really under the same kind of constraints, meaning that the drivers on the other van, the Boxborough Connects van, would also be subject to random drug testing, need updates on their trainings, and I don't really see any great difference from what we've been doing since I've been here about 5 years. So I would definitely support signing the contract, and appreciate your help with that.
Sure,
I have two questions for Kim when you're ready.
and me too.
You first.
All right. I was looking at the paragraph that you just mentioned, and it says, in the event a town does not collect the minimum fare threshold, but do you collect your minimum fare threshold through the grant? Is that what the grant is for fares? Because that might cover you.
We have been instructed by Mart not to collect any fares at this time.
Right, no, what I'm
But
saying
with-
is the grant, if the grant covers your fare threshold, then this paragraph doesn't matter. Like, because you were saying you were concerned about the paragraph, that it doesn't.
It doesn't mention having, right, that was my concern, was that they have that stipulation of no less than 50 cents.
Right.
Our fares, when we need to charge, start at $1 per ride.
Sure.
So.
But no, but
we're
what I was asking is the grant that
following
you
that.
receive, is the grant specifically in lieu of fares? Because if you receive a grant, that would actually cover the minimum threshold if it's in lieu of collecting fares.
Yeah, we didn't receive the grant, Mart did, so,
Oh, I see. All right, yeah, where it says member COAs. Okay. Well, let's not trouble. I think that's fine.
I do
Right.
too.
Yeah. And then the only other thing is the random drug testing. Do they give a list of the drugs that they're testing for? And the reason I ask is that marijuana is legal and it does stay in your system for a certain number of days. So I would hate for someone to lose their job if they're not high during the day, but they have the right to smoke in the evenings or when they're not working.
I can look into that for you, Kristen. I'm really not familiar with the list of drugs that they're looking for.
Okay. Because kind of
but-
like alcohol, if you want to drink when you're not driving, that's perfect with me. If you want to smoke weed when you're not driving, just not while you're driving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My assumption on that is that, and I may be incorrect, but I assume that it's similar to what they do for bus drivers and CDL truck drivers, is that they do test for marijuana, and they can be suspended from driving and lose their license. So that's a good question for us to ask. Do they test for marijuana? Because if one of our school bus drivers or one of our DPW drivers were to pop positive for marijuana, that they could lose their job over that.
Yeah. Again, I don't know. I have to believe it's probably come up at the state level somewhere with somebody contesting it because it's not illegal. It's the same, but it does stay in your system for weeks, is my understanding. So, okay.
So we'll ask
All
that
right.
question, what they test.
I just wouldn't want to get sued, is really what it comes down to.
Right.
I'm allowed to smoke at night, or when I'm not driving. Okay. All right. What are your questions?
First one is, did the Council on Aging vote in favor of this today?
We really didn't hold a vote. It
Okay.
was just informational purposes. So I did discuss it with them. I offered to have them look at my printed copy if they would like, and all supported going forward with agreeing to have you sign the contract. I told them that, Mike, you would be probably the one that would sign off on the contract, and everyone seemed to be, general consensus. I would say everyone was in agreement.
Okay.
Great.
Great. The other one I was going to ask, but maybe I'll do the asking, is about the 50 cents they had in there. I was going to ask Kim if you could ask them if they would take that out of there since it doesn't apply right now. But since I'm going to call or email and find out what they drug test for, I'll ask them about that same thing on page 9.
Can we just scratch it out and
Yeah.
initial it?
Yeah.
That we're not going to be charging 50 cents and just initial it?
Yeah, I would think so. So I'll find that out from them. And then the other thing is that, Kristen, once the board votes on this, either you or I could sign this, whatever you like.
Okay, sounds good. Any questions for everybody else? No? All right. Do you want us to move to authorize you to enter into it subject to getting answers to your questions, or would you rather come back in 2 weeks and we'll vote it then after you have the answer about the 50 cents and the?
Yeah, I think subject to that. I think once we find that out, that's fine. I think you could vote it tonight, and I could just let you know at the next meeting, that I've signed it, and this is the answer to the 50 cents and to the, what the drug testing involves, if that's
Board
okay.
You good, Wes? Good? Okay. All right, then. I move to authorize the Council on Aging to enter into a MART Transportation Services contract and to opt in to the drug and alcohol policy, subject to Mike receiving the answers to the questions he'll be asking about the fares and the type of drugs that are tested.
My only question is the wording. Is it, I authorize the Council on Aging? Is it?
Second.
Authorized Mike, wouldn't it be?
Or is it the town of Boxborough?
Yeah, exactly.
because
Probably
the-
should be
the
town of
contract
Boxborough.
is the select board chair signing it.
Yeah. So it should be, all right, then let's amend that. I move to authorize the town of Boxborough to enter into the MART Transportation Services contract and to opt in to the drug and alcohol policy,
Yeah.
subject to answers to the question regarding fares and drug testing.
Second.
Sounds good.
Any further discussion? Anyone from the public? All right, seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Abstain? All right, that is unanimous.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you, thank you. Next, though, we have the Council on Aging Transportation Services contract. Wait.
Yeah.
You just voted
That's what
both,
we
I think.
just did.
Oh, it's just on there twice. Okay. I was like, wait, do we have two contracts?
Well, one's for the contract, one's for the drug, but they all go together. I think your one motion, I
see.
believe,
All
covered
right,
it.
yeah, it's all the same thing. No, I understand that, but I have two motions here and two things on the agenda, so I was just checking. We're good. All right. Next, fall town meeting warrant articles. Ready to go through them?
Yes. Just moving down to that. Okay, just a reminder that this fall town meeting is October 14th and 15th, and the location is different than the usual. It is over at the Regency, which is at 242 Adams Place. We're planning for the 2 evenings, and it's, again, different because of the Monday holiday. On October 13th, this will be a Tuesday and Wednesday special town meeting. And first article is, Article 1 is to change the zoning to allow a public safety facility across all districts by right. And the planning board has recommended.
Could you put the warrant articles up on the screen, please, instead of us?
And it's,
Here, hold on, let's just get them
it's
out.
page 47 of the packet. It's the first article.
Oh, take your time, that's fine. So yeah, we'll just chat about it a little bit. So we're gonna have our town meetings at the Regency this year, in part to make it a little more comfortable for people. We'll have room for babysitting, we'll have more space for people to attend. We were a little worried about outstripping the capacity at Blanchard. So as much as we appreciate the region, welcoming us to have our town meetings there, we decided to go off-site a little bit. You all will thank me when you enjoy the chairs at the Regency instead of the folding metal chairs. Thank us, we'll thank the board.
Yeah, and Kristen, I know you said babysitting. I think it's important. We have quite a few babysitters available.
Why don't you talk about that? Priya has been working tirelessly to line all of this up. So Priya, why don't you tell us a little bit about babysitting?
Yeah, we have about 5 high schoolers that have signed up for babysitting.
Awesome.
4 of them have already had their query done, and I think we need one more person who will I'll connect with Rajan. And then we also have a parent that signed up to kind of oversee all the babysitters. So we have pretty much 6 people that can do the babysitting. So we hope a lot of people with kids will come and take advantage of that and be able to participate in voting.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Now, the other thing we did to change things up a little bit is we are going to have a defined number of articles, the first night and the second night. Mike will get to that. But in an effort to let everybody get home at a reasonable hour on a weeknight, we are absolutely going to have 2 days of special town meeting with designated work to get done. There's also the feeling that no good decisions are made after 10 o'clock at night, pretty much in anybody's life. So we'll apply that to town meeting also, but we'll go through it. Okay, ready?
Yes, I have one question on the babysitting though, and that is, I had heard last year, we had set up a large screen TV and a DVD player, but I had heard that the children who attended didn't have that much interest in that. They were interested in other things. So it might be interesting as people sign up to find out what might their children be interested in. Is it books? Is it puzzles? Is it DVDs? Is it whatever? And
can Kelly and the team do a sign up so we can send it out so that way we can
I'll
have
be
that information.
I'll be working with the PTF. I'm already engaged with them to maybe we can send a Google sign up out via the PTF, and then maybe the Box for Family Network, and maybe we can put a sign up on the website. So that because that would be great to know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and kind of structure
sure
the activities to what they're interested in.
I'm sure those 5 high schoolers wouldn't have a problem.
Yeah.
Like one of them might be a middle school, like almost. Yeah. But.
Well, and you and I talked a little bit, coloring supplies, some Duplos, things that we can easily carry in for a couple of nights and carry out again.
Yeah.
That kids enjoy playing with. So, but any other ideas are welcome. And I'm sure we've discussed snacks, but we'll do allergen-free, nut-free, peanut-free, gluten-free, dairy-free. Water-free? No, Made Good at Target actually has some pretty good snacks. So anyway.
Can I just say that this is all great, and thank you.
We're trying.
I think getting parents of young children to town meeting is crucial. If the votes don't happen before 9 o'clock, then it's useless.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I think the key to that is starting right on time, getting right into the meat of the articles.
Yes.
I think in my head, I'm expecting Article 1 to be an hour to an hour and a half. That is the most important thing that we have to get done on Tuesday night. And then we've got the 2 cents of the meeting motions, which are after, which were equally important because they're going to give the Fire Station Building Committee and all the boards and commissions some direction. But I think, Sam, that we'll have that vote.
They might be equally important, but if there's a vote if there's a vote that we think is crucial, I say 9 o'clock because that's like,
even that's past most
for
children's
my
bedtime.
kids, but there's a lot of parents in town that really, no matter how much childcare is there, they're going to leave at 8 o'clock, or one of the 2 parents is going to leave at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's bedtime. So
well, we did talk about at one point
if we can get babysitting, but we need to be conscientious about the warrant and the timing.
Well, we're working on that now. We should be, Article 1 should be the zoning bylaw change, which is the most important thing that I think we need to do. MBTA is equally important. We'll start with that on Tuesday. So that is the intent, is to start with that article first and then follow with the 2 cents of the meeting motions. And then Wednesday night, we'll start with the MBTA overlay district, and then we'll move into all the other housekeeping articles. So that the 2 absolute, when I talk kindergarten, we call them must-dos. The 2 must-dos will be first at 7 p.m. in both evenings.
I'm fine with all that.
Okay, awesome. But good input, absolutely.
Relative to this discussion, last Thursday evening, Rajan kicked off the first night of Civic Academy, and he had 8 attendees there. It was a great success. I believe he's still open to more people showing up. But in of the 8 attendees, Priya was there, Rajan, of course, was there, I was there. One of the attendees was a young gentleman with a young family, children in, I believe, in elementary school, public school anyways. And he was so excited to hear that there's going to be childcare there, because either he or his wife go to every town meeting, but they never both get to go, and they were both active in the community and are both interested in participating. So I thought that was great. Mm-hmm. So for the first article, that is, as you mentioned, the zoning that will allow public safety. We're just scrolling up to that across all districts by right. Thus far, the planning board has recommended in favor of this by 3-2. The capital committee discussed this article earlier, but did not take a vote on it because the capital committee felt it was out of the purview of that committee to vote on it. And so this evening, you'll have the opportunity to vote on it, and then tomorrow night, the finance committee will vote on it.
The fire station voted.
Oh, yes.
And they voted unanimously.
So Alec, I see, is here. Alec, do you want to just walk us briefly through the article? I know most of us attended the public hearings, so, but just for the benefit of everyone else, give us the gist of Article 1.
Happy to do so. So just to keep things very clean and summary here, this article provides both a definition for public safety as a use code. That's the first component here, even though it comes at the very end of the bylaw. That defines clearly what the use encompasses. Very plain: police, fire, emergency services, and other management services around it. It then allows the use by right in every district. What that means is that it's not subject to a special permit, which is an arbitrary permit type. It's by right, which still under our bylaw requires site plan approval. And the board felt it necessary, or a majority of the board felt it necessary as well, to propose footnote 26, which emphasized the need for site plan approval. I'll note that even without the footnote, it would be required, but that was an intentional step to emphasize the need for site plan approval, as well as emphasize the fact that this use must be owned or operated by the town of Boxborough. So an outside entity could not come in under this use code. It would have to be a municipality, specifically Boxborough, operating the use.
You all, I want to give the planning board, some props, because you did a really good job thinking about all of those unintended consequences to the point of saying no, it's not going to be a private ambulance service. It's the town of Boxborough, special, still have site plan review. You were really thoughtful about how you put all that together. So thank you. Any questions for Alec? Any discussion? All righty, was that the first time I said already? I don't know. I move to recommend Article 1. Actually, we should scroll down and take a look at Priya's recommendation.
I sent it to you.
It's a different,
Just the recommendation,
So we do need to vote your recommendations tonight, Priya, so if you could put that up, that would be great.
I don't know if you need to vote the recommendation.
We have to approve it. We don't have to vote it, but we all have to approve it because that is the select
Did you
board's
send the
recommendation.
recommendation to me?
I forwarded to them both. It's in your email.
What time?
Just
now?
Yeah. I had sent it to you, Mike.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just can't pull it up because I'm not on Zoom.
So rather than me showing my email on the shared screen, if you could just give me a few
What
more minutes.
do you want to read it to us, Priya? We'll just have Priya. All right, you can read it to us, Priya.
I can.
That's okay.
I can stop sharing and. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, why don't you stop sharing for a minute and then you can pull it up separately.
Okay. Or you could also share. And then
You guys want me to read?
Yeah, why don't you read it in that way? Yeah.
Okay. The Select Board recommends permitting public safety facilities by right in all zoning districts, subject to site plan review. Public safety is a core service provided by the town, directly impacting the health and safety of our residents. Allowing these facilities in every district gives the town the flexibility to choose optimal locations that ensure rapid emergency response and long-term cost efficiency. These facilities are subject to existing bylaws regulating noise, lighting, and wastewater management, often with stricter standards than those regulated in some agricultural or residential zones. This ensures any development is both safe and compliant. Contrary to the belief that ample land is available in industrial zones, which makes up roughly 25% of Boxborough, only few parcels are available and many have limitations. If ample land were available, prior boards would have already identified and developed such a site for a new fire station, potentially saving significant costs over the past decade. For improved emergency access, better site selection, and fiscal responsibility now and in the future, allowing public safety facilities by right across all zones is a practical and necessary step.
Well written.
It's on the screen. I'm not sure what has to be done to get it over onto the,
Oh, to share it?
to
Okay.
share it.
Does
That might be
anybody
something in the back room.
have any input? Like, how does everyone feel? I,
Yeah, if you guys want to.
There we go.
there we go.
It's coming up. Thank you.
Excellent, good job.
All right, so everyone's okay. There's no discussion on the article?
I think we'll give Sam still reading.
Did you guys already read this? Am I the only one?
No,
Take
they
your
heard
turn.
me, so.
No, I'd rather do this right and make sure that before this goes to the print. Kelly does not want us to call her on Thursday morning to say we have an edit. You do not want that, right? Okay, so everyone take their time and read it.
I can comment. I've read it and I've seen previous comments and I like the recommendation. As we've discussed 2 weeks ago and in the past, we normally, as precedent, don't comment on zoning articles. I think the fact that this has widespread financial impact to the town, I think we need to express our views one way or the other so that the town people know where the select board is on this particular article. So I'm fine with this article the way it is.
Agreed.
Plus, we also have a precedence, like for regionalization. We did.
And again, it's just a practice, not a policy. So we, it's important that the town knows how we feel about this.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And by doing this, to your comment, we're not setting, a new rule, new bylaw, a new standard. This is an exception, and it's not to say that the select board is always going to comment on zoning articles, but I think this one is a big enough impact to the town that I think the residents want to know how the select board feels about this article.
Oh, agreed. Yeah, I see. Yeah, agreed. I am. Yes. All right. Any other comments?
You want to make any changes, Sam? You're okay?
All good? All right. Any comments from the public? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed?
What are we voting on? Just so
To recommend Article 1.
We need a motion.
Where I move to recommend Article 1 and its recommendation. And Priya seconded. Priya had already seconded it. So, all right, so we have, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Abstain. All right, so that's 4, 1, and 0. So you didn't want to talk about why you're a nay? Since we're discussing it now?
I wasn't really sure what we were talking about, to be honest. Like, we kind of jumped, first we went straight to the recommendation and...
No, Alec presented Article 1. Alec reviewed it. So that's what we were voting and discussing.
Yeah, I mean, I have similar feelings to the two planning board members where I would vote this in favor today if it didn't say by right for agricultural res. Like, in a heartbeat, I would not, like, I would support this, I would be all behind it. But it's just my concern. And then I guess my other issue is when you say it still has to go through site plan approval, that's kind of misleading where you're making it seem as if you are putting up these roadblocks or using a simple term which to most people would make them seem like there's a process or there's a way to deny or change or whatever, but really it's just shaping the project to get it approved. It's site plan approval, it's not site plan change or site plan whatever, and there's only so many things that you can do through the site plan approval process, since it would be by right in that manner, right? And so that would be my concern.
Alec, do you want to speak to that? Because this is a good practice for town meeting floor. This will probably come up on town meeting floor.
Yeah, so I'm happy to clarify the difference between the two common permitting paths. So we do throw around the term site plan approval, and it is the more common of the two permitting paths. The others is referred to special permit. Site plan approval is a public health and safety review conducted by the planning board. That's a group that's elected here in Boxborough to review these applications to ensure that they are safe and they provide adequate access and health to the users of the site, to the neighbors. It is not an arbitrary process though, and arbitrary is a strong word, but it's oftentimes how we lean on the special permit process. Better term for it, is discretionary. A special permit is a discretionary permitting path where the 5 members of the Zoning Board of Appeals, the appointed board here in Boxborough, plus their 1 alternate, they would have a stronger ability to deny a project. Site plan approval is not typically a permitting path that is denied. It's not out of the question, it's not unheard of. We here in Boxborough have denied a project at least once by site plan approval in the 3 years I've been here. But it is something that is more by right. So typically when you come to a site plan approval public hearing before the planning board, there is a shorter timeline for review, but there is still a public hearing process. The planning board takes ample public comment, usually at the start or in the middle or at the end of each public hearing. There'll be a staggered process by which the chair declares at the start when they'll take comment. Abutters, aggrieved citizens, or just any member of the public has the right to respond, to provide comment, and to the best of their ability, the planning board will work with the applicant to ultimately ensure those comments are heard and in some way incorporated into the application process.
So Alec, in that regard, so the main issue for a public safety would be like, from what we have heard in our listening sessions, is like noise, lighting, and like wastewater management. So all those will be looked into and like taken into consideration when they look at the site plan review?
Yes, those are all typical criteria that the board will consider during site plan approval, and the board will work with the applicant to refine a project until such time as they more adequately address the potential impacts.
Okay, well, that's helpful, thank you. Okay, moving on. Article number 2 is sense of the meeting, correct?
No, Article 2 is also a zoning article. It is,
oh, sorry, I knew
it is
that.
for dimensional schedule for the town of Boxborough zoning bylaw. And this one is important because there's one site that's under consideration by the Fire Station Building Committee that's within the town center district. If that, for that site to be continue being considered, Article 2 needs to be voted on. And this one, I think it would be good for Alec to also give us a summary of this one, which I would have done on the first one if I knew he was already on. I didn't think he was coming on till later, so thank you, Alec.
Yeah, of course, happy to do so. So for the board, Article 2, the planning board unanimously said they wanted to proceed to public hearing with this. There seemed to be an overall sense that the board was generally in favor of this, but I will note that because of the scope of the hearing notice we originally posted for Article 1, we do have to still hold a public hearing for Article 2. At this point, we've proceeded with noticing that. I believe that's intended to start either September 15th or October 6th, one of the 2 dates. But the hearing notice is posted in Town Hall, and it should have already hit the paper. So I refer to those 2 resources. What this effectively does, you'll remember it was the subject of a discussion previously with the Fire Station Building Committee and with the Select Board regarding this dimensional regulation. You will note that it was partially addressed in the cleanup article that the Planning Board brought to annual town meeting, but ultimately when considering a public safety building, which we often hear the number 24,000 square feet, I know that has resonated strongly and we've heard a lot at the Fire Station Building Committee meetings. The existing threshold of 15,000 square feet for any singular structure in the town center district would not be enough to accommodate a structure like this. It's not directly, this requirement, footnote 5 as it stands today, what it does is it only allows structures up to 8,000 square feet in gross floor area by right. In order to go up to 15,000 square feet, you would need to get a special permit, and then anything beyond 15,000 square feet is not hypothesized as part of this existing footnote. The planning board has proposed this alteration, which would allow the special permit to go up to 25,000 square feet exclusively for public safety buildings. This once again leverages the definition that's proposed in Article 1. So the 2 articles are in some way wedded here. However, if Article 1 for any reason wasn't passed, Article 2 could still stand on its own. That would be a special permit before the Zoning Board of Appeals, and it would effectively carry the same reason or logic as a dimensional variance, but in this case exclusively for this use type. So once again, the definition would hold true that it would need to be the use that's operated by the town of Boxborough. It would need to be one of those core uses, the police, fire, emergency management, or other emergency services, and it would exclusively be for proposals in the town center district.
So Alec, help me understand how we marry this. If Article 1 were to pass as written, or whatnot, so you've got Article 1 saying allowed by right anywhere in town with site plan review. However, if we were to decide that 708 blah 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 Mass Ave were going to be where it is, then we would have a special permit on top of the by right. And would that well, first answer that question. Like,
So
how do you marry
what
these
this-
two?
Right, so what this would do in true effect is it would require the special permit in the town center district. Now, it's not your typical special permit. A typical special permit is specific to a use, and while this does trigger for a specific use, it's really more the subject of the size of the structure. So the applicant, presumably the town of Boxborough, since only the town of Boxborough can operate a public safety use under the proposed definition, Boxborough would apply for this special permit, and they would be addressing all of the typical special permit criteria, but it would be framed specifically to the size of the building and why the special permit would be granted for it to be a larger structure. The existing footnote as it's written hypothesizes that you will see smaller structures in Boxborough. I know 8,000 square feet really isn't small. Our town center obviously is a lot of homes in Boxborough, but this footnote must have been at a time where there was an expectation of a larger commercial presence in the area. And so this was going to break the buildings up, make them smaller in size, to get a little more, to give it a little more character. This is supposed to give it more of a quaint feel. In a quaint downtown or a quaint village center, you'll see smaller structures typically, and when we think of it in New England, this was hypothesized at that time. Now we are broadening the footnote to allow public safety, noting that of course the town center district is still in the core center of Boxborough.
So would this site plan review and the special permit process be happening concurrently, or would you naturally stack them? And the reason I'm asking is I'm thinking about timing. I'm actually thinking about how this adds to the cost and the timeline of building a fire station, if that's the site the town decides is the best place.
Yes, you can run them concurrently. I'll note that the Zoning Board of Appeals has previously and on multiple occasions taken the stance that they prefer the site plan approval be granted prior to issuing a special permit decision. I presume they would take the same stance here, but we have yet to have to test this because it's not on the books today. But there's nothing that prohibits the filing of both applications simultaneously.
And what happens if the ZBA were to deny the special permit?
If the ZBA were to deny the special permit, in their findings, they would have to determine what the maximum threshold would be. So that could either be, keep it at the 15,000, in lieu of explicitly stating what the maximum capacity would, or the maximum threshold would be. It would default back to 8,000 square feet.
Which would kill a project.
No, you just have to modify your project to then try and get another approval.
Well, no, a fire station, if it went back to, if it was remanded to an 8,000 square foot building, it would kill the project. Are we gonna have 3 mini fire stations?
Well, I mean, then you would bring forth a new proposal, so they probably would not just they don't just say nope. Typically, you get a report or response. But
No, I was on the ZBA, we say no.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time on the ZBA. No, there's no, it's a yes or a no, it's not a maybe.
Well, it's yes and no with answers, but I mean, it's a no, and the no is you got to make it 8,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or come back in 2 years, or pull it. I mean, I guess what I'm realizing is that by making it special permit, it creates a bailiwick and I'm using the true definition of a bailiwick.
I don't know if we should be recommending this before the public hearing process has concluded, because then effectively we're saying we already are predetermined.
Yeah. Well, what I'm struggling with is where the public hearing hasn't happened yet. If the planning board is going to change any language, this is what's printed in the warrant, which means, well, I guess it's a planned amendment on the
It's the
floor.
public hearing.
What?
When's the,
After, I think.
I don't know, it just says after the printing of the warrant. I don't
Ultimately,
think-
it's up to Dennis to allow amendments with it.
Yeah.
So it's not,
Yeah, and Dennis, you're on here too. I mean, thoughts? Because the planning board hasn't, okay, can you, I don't have the printed warrant in front of me because I didn't want to kill trees. The planning board hasn't voted this, correct?
Correct.
Then I don't think we should vote. I think Wes is 100% right, that we shouldn't be recommending anything because we don't even know what they're bringing.
I totally
So
agree.
to understand this is the printed article and it's still subject to change.
Right.
Because there's a open public hearing, but if they were to change it, they have to stay within the scope of what's described here. So the extent to which they can amend it is somewhat limited.
Dennis, would it, all right, I'm going to just throw it out here. What if it was, if the special permit piece of it was taken out, that we were just allowing 25,000 square feet for a public safety building? If they just eliminated special permit, would that be within the scope of the four corners of the article?
They would, so then,
that changes
I'm
the
asking
whole
you to think on
process.
your feet, sorry.
The,
Go ahead, Sue.
The answer to his question doesn't matter.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out how it might play out.
No, but it's been, oh, fine. I mean, if you want to talk about how it might play out, that's fine. But
That's all I'm asking right now.
To me,
How would
it's
this play out?
materially different. I mean, I don't feel comfortable supporting
I don't
this
think that
or
would be-
not. I mean, I'm going to abstain on this if you move for a vote. So
You're gonna abstain or no?
I don't think we can weigh in on this in its current format. I would say you shouldn't make the motion, but if you did,
No, I
would
agree.
abstain.
That's kind of what I'm saying, is I'm not comfortable voting this until we
Right.
actually have a planning
And we
board
can,
vote.
we can work over the different iterations and amendments on town meeting floor, but
Well, there goes your 8 o'clock.
Well, this one's after the board.
This is
Fair
after.
enough.
this, we're,
Fair enough.
there's no, this one's second.
Fair enough. All right, everybody else's thoughts?
I mean,
I know the
agree.
fire station building committee already voted it for you, but what are your thoughts after this
I mean,
discussion?
we would like the 25,000 square feet. Obviously, the public hearing hasn't happened, so I guess, and if the planning board can still make changes, then obviously we want to wait till the final.
Okay.
and it's not atypical for select board or any other board to wait to make a recommendation until town meeting.
Yeah.
Often there's other information the select board or any other board may want to collect ahead of finalizing a recommendation. And often the select board and the finance committee post a meeting for 6 o'clock on the night of that meeting to sometimes finalize the recommendations because they know that the actual wording of the article, the wording of the actual motion may be changed as well, as long as it sticks within the four corners of the article as printed in warrant.
So then I would just
So
make a motion.
it's perfectly
that
normal for you to wait to
recommendation
make your recommendation until later.
Sure.
And that could be as late as 1 hour before town meeting.
I mean, then
Kelly,
you-
why don't you just delete the recommendation and write the select board defers its recommendation to town meeting floor? Does anyone have an issue with that? All right. Yeah, that's much more comfortable. All right, next. Sense of the meeting. I actually wanted to bring before you guys, I think that the select board should probably make a short statement for both of these. And I think that, for Article 3, I wrote a super broad, that we appreciate the time and energy that they've taken to keeping the residents of town updated. I think it's just another way of showing select board support to the boards that are working really hard on all this. But again, it's up to the board if you want to have a recommendation or not.
I'm pretty, you can jump in here where I'm actually Priya and I are both on the capital committee, committee as well as Mike was there as well. And they decided, not to vote at all on this, so the capital committee is not gonna make a
No,
recommendation.
we did.
This one we
We
did.
did. We voted
Oh.
against it,
You voted against it?
from a capital committee standpoint,
Yeah,
for the cost.
right, exactly, for the cost.
Oh, okay, well, that's different, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, you're saying the capital committee's point of view is to save money,
Yeah,
site neutral, just cheapest option.
so cheapest option, yes.
right.
So,
Is there a written, you didn't develop a written,
There is.
there is one, I like,
It was,
it hasn't been
the
finalized.
written recommendation was that, something to the effect that the capital committee unanimously voted against this because of the detrimental effect it may have on other capital
Right.
items on the long-term capital plan.
Right.
Just the cost.
It was just, right, it was
It
just
was
the
something
cost.
to that
but
effect.
the point is that their scope is very narrow.
Very
Right.
much, very
Yeah.
narrow.
Yeah.
And that was trying to stay within the capital committee's,
Yeah.
scope.
Exactly, yes, I apologize for the confusion, yes, that's correct. So,
If that's the case, I actually feel that the select board should weigh in, because we have to look at, like, to use your words, I think you just used narrow scope, Sam. Ours is the broadest scope, so we probably, if we're gonna have the narrowest scope weigh in, the broadest scope probably needs to weigh in also. And what, actually, now that I think about it, I'm recommending that we hear the sense of the, okay. I'm not necessarily recommending that we spend $4 to $6 million more. I was thinking that we were recommending to hear.
Yes,
The-
that, I
that
think
the
that's
information is
where our scope
presented.
should be. We should, we recommend to hear what the sense is.
But I don't believe we can on this one, because see if the sense of the Dennis, I need your help.
So that's what the fire station building committee, we said, like, we're gonna be neutral with this, right? Like,
Yeah.
we just wanna hear what people have to say, or like,
That's-
yeah.
I agree. If the whole point of framing the question like this is to get a sense of the meeting,
Meeting.
then what's the point of being advocates in the meeting?
Yeah.
right, I'm kind of with that too. And, yeah, exactly.
We're not-
Sam,
We're not lobbying town meeting and then saying, tell us what it is.
What it
We're,
is,
the whole,
yeah. Yeah,
if we wanted to do that, we would have framed it in a question. It's a
And-
sense of a meeting, which is, tell us what you think.
I agree, and that's just what it is. And I agree on those first four words. This is just a sense of the meeting. And so we're really getting face-to-face our question asked and answered by the resident saying, how do you feel about this? And so hopefully a lot of people will get up and talk to this, exactly.
That was actually, okay, so that was actually my point, when I was thinking about this, we were recommending that we have when I was writing it, that was where I was coming from, is that we recommend that the town have a discussion on town meeting floor.
Right.
And that's why I wanted to have the opportunity to be able to say that, to say, we feel it's really important to have this discussion and help guide the fire station and the select board on making future decisions by
so we
taking all of their
could do
input.
exactly what the fire station building
Yeah, and I
committee
can just
did,
rewrite
right?
it.
Like where they said, read that one. It says, like, we remain neutral at this point.
So what if I change the recommendation to the select board is,
Yeah, I mean.
Is
yeah,
is that the same thing, right? Like we are not saying.
To me, it's a distinction
you're-
without a difference. We can all abstain, or we can vote to say
We are neutral.
either or. Yeah, I don't care. Yeah.
No, what are you, like, what do you think would be the ideal way to do this?
To get a sense of the meeting.
Yeah, just not like us not even do anything?
I'm saying there's no meaningful difference between saying I'm abstaining because I want to get the sense of the meeting.
Yeah.
Or voting to say I'm neutral. That's not a.
Okay.
I think what I'm trying to say is that we support getting the sense of the meeting, and we have to remember
Sure.
that we don't have an
Yeah.
opportunity to say that unless we have a recommendation. The recommendation is the only place to say that.
Okay.
And that's all I was saying. I wasn't recommending the 4 to 6 million. Again, this is why it's good to do it like this.
Well, is
Yeah.
the text, I guess,
Yeah.
is the text of the article, such as it is, itself, like, narrow enough to really get a sense of the meeting? Is that how much less it costs?
I mean, the
Do we
question
know?
is do you say like 4 to 6? So then you say, okay, well, what if we had just stopped going after 72, knowing that there's a large group of people? Would it have been less money? Now it's only $2 million. And so I guess maybe a more fair way to put it would just say increased cost based on from the already assessed site that was proposed but not funded last time. Because I mean, how do you know that it's 4 to 6 million? And then that kind of just seems like you're trying to slant it back towards 72. So if you're trying to be unbiased, we may want to change it to be may cost more than what has already initially been proposed.
Leave it at that.
And yeah, and so that way it's.
One of the things though, this was coming from the fire station building committee, and the committee felt strongly about putting a number. I think because people
that was
were,
one of my questions. Okay.
yeah, they wanted to, because people kept asking again and again, I guess, in their listening groups and in listening sessions and other things, that we want to know what the number is. Like, what is the number that you're asking? If you're saying more, how much more? Is it 2 million more?
What's the meaning of the term base cost?
Right, because I think what Sam's trying to ask.
Because you could.
So to a cost to just build in an ideal location, how much is it going to cost?
Yeah.
And then maybe if you're going to go to a different site where you might have additional site work that you might have to do, or purchase price that you might have to do, or maybe have swing space, whatever other things that you might have to have, right, to make that work.
Right. And so the best we could do is 4 to 6 million.
Million, yes.
Okay.
Then why not
Am
just
I
say,
right?
then why not just say up could cost up to? Because then when you say 4 to 6 million, it seems very specific. Like, we know that any other site other than what we currently have and was not funded would cost exactly 4 to 6 million more for various reasons. Because like, I don't know that I would support it, like
With the 4 to 6.
with the number, because it is, in my opinion, somewhat arbitrary. And
so you're saying if the wording was up to 600?
Because like, what happens if a property becomes available and we can buy it for 1.5 million and it conforms to all the things, and that's.
Yeah. So these numbers are based on the current sites that the committee is looking at.
I understand.
And so anything other than the base cost, which is the lowest cost one, with the lowest amount to go to another site is about 4 million. That's based on the prices discussed and the site cost there. And the top end of that range is about 6. So it is based on actual numbers.
Or then maybe say for the currently evaluated sites, because otherwise you're effectively blanketly saying that in the future, whatever.
That's fair. Yeah, because this is based on the ones
the
that
current,
are
like, I would be fine with it if it says like the currently evaluated sites, because then that makes it more.
Yeah, that's
If
fair.
I may, you're discussing an article that's authored by others, and
But it is in our warrant.
I heard you ask for my
Yep, we did,
suggestion
Dennis.
on. What's that?
Yes, we did. Dennis, go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, the suggestion, I think you were prompting me for regarding your recommendation. Perhaps your recommendation could say, the select board does not take a position on this article and is only interested in hearing the opinion of the voters at town meeting.
Oh, I like
Great.
that. That's to the point.
Yep.
So that way it's clear of, what your expectation is. You're there you want to hear their opinion, and I think you need to state that in some way and to use simple words like something to that effect.
So sorry, you're saying
And the
we
printed
can't.
recommendation would make it clear as to what the select board is thinking without having to even say it.
Dennis, you're saying we can't change the text of this article?
This
This is coming from the fire
It's
station.
not your article.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You could perhaps discuss with the fire station building committee how they'd like to word this. And I suppose the select board has a lot of control over the warrant. It's your warrant. But at the same time, you've got an appointed committee doing work for your direction and appointment. And you may want to allow them to do it to one degree or another. I think, some of the points you just brought up are exactly part of the conversation on the floor of town meeting. The way this thing is worded is indicating to the voters that there's some kind of price premium And there's a range. It's a very wide range order of magnitude, given the numbers that are just single digits with no precision and a range that goes from 4 to 6, which is a pretty big range. And I would suspect that the Fire Station Building Committee will be asked some very specific, direct questions about these numbers and perhaps many other numbers involved in what they've counted for costs so far, because that's been, I think, a great topic of interest at many of the meetings. And this is just another, I think, fact-finding effort on their part, is to hear what the voters think about a differential. And there may be questions about, well, what if it was this much difference or that much difference? And I think this is going to prompt a lot of interesting conversation, I think.
So, agreed with all of that. And Bob and I quickly scribbled a new recommendation over here for us. What I want to ask you, Wes, the summary, sometimes the summary is more important than the actual wording of the article.
What Dennis is saying is that it's theirs, and so if we just say, this is the work of the Fire Station Building Committee, and we are open to the discussion at town meeting floor.
Okay. What I was going to ask you, though, is does the last sentence of the summary make you any more comfortable? I'm just asking you that because that's what I was saying is if you skip over the actual sentence and then go down to the summary does explain that it could cost $4 to $6 million more due to, it actually should say site acquisition and constraints. Because it's the acquisition that's the issue, not the site constraints.
My main issue with this, and it's like not that we can really change it right now, is it seems like it's just trying to funnel everything, but it's saying if we just said based on the currently evaluated sites, that's a very measured and like it's specific to Dennis's point, and so that's why we can then give the range. But this isn't our article, and so it's if they're going to print on Thursday, then they can't have a meeting by then, and so this is just how it goes. And so I think we just say the select board will not make a recommendation on this as it's the sense of the meeting, and we wish to hear the input of the public, or something like that.
Okay. The select board does not take a position on this article, or has not taken. I don't care yet.
Or will not take because it's
will not.
Will not. That sounds. We will not take a position. Has not. I don't like the word will.
Okay.
We did not. We didn't take a position.
Right. We could.
The select board has not taken a position on this warrant article. No, on this, and is very interested in hearing what the voters' opinions are on the subject. I mean, it's like this is not pretty yet.
That's fine. I'm good with that.
Okay. It just will not sounds like we'll never take a position.
Exactly, right.
That's the only reason I was like, oh, has not. Okay.
This one has not.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm just writing it down. Okay, well, I'll get this over to Kelly. Okay, so then we're not recommending because we didn't take a position. We're just going to write it.
What is that?
We could just say select board abstains. I mean, well, we haven't voted yet, but I could actually, make a vote to recommend the article, and then everyone can decide if they're. Okay, what are we recommending? Are we recommending that we hear the article, or we're recommending the content of the article? You all tell me. I don't really know.
Which one?
I think you may want to vote on a motion to have no recommendation.
Yeah, because if you recommend it,
your action is tonight.
If you recommend it, you're recommending that they vote in favor of it. If you recommend against it, you recommend them to vote no on the article. So yeah, we can. I'll move to
no recommendation.
Hold on a second. Sorry. Like, should we approach with Mary Brolin on this?
I don't know if a chair can change the text of.
No, I don't know if she wants to. Kristen, do you
I don't think this is a Mary Brolin question. I think this is just how does the select board want to approach this and making sure.
No. That about the whole warrant article itself.
It's too late. We're going to print on Thursday. You'd have to have a meeting. She can't change anything unilaterally without a meeting and a vote of all of you, and you'd have to. And we go to print on Thursday, so it's too late.
So I'll move to make no recommendation.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Hold on, I gotta write these things down as we go. So it's, okay. All those in favor of making no recommendation, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? All right, so it will literally say the select board makes no recommendation. The select board has not taken a position on this article and is very interested in hearing what the voters' opinions are on the subject. And I can make that a better sentence, but are you okay with the gist? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. All righty. Oh my gosh, everyone's gonna be drunk at home, so many alrighties. Article 4, sends to the meeting, using high-level green construction standards. So I know the fire station, because I've been attending their meetings also, they spent a lot of time really breaking this out. I'm assuming everyone's had a chance to read the summary. And really what it's talking about is the big stuff. Does the town have a stomach to spend an additional $1 million to go geothermal, have higher performing building components, you know, et cetera, you all can read. Thoughts?
Kelly, could you roll it up just a little bit, please?
Yeah, actually, you know what makes sense, Kel, is to go down to the second group of bullets, because that's what the $1 million gets you. Yeah, that, and
So
if you could make it a little bigger, that would be even awesomer.
Right, because that, not that big.
Sorry.
There we
That's
go,
okay. You're
perfect,
good.
thank you.
Yeah, because the first section is what automatically we have to do
Yeah.
to get the grant. on-
No, those are codes, like.
Codes,
basic
yeah, right,
codes.
yeah. That's what we have to do to meet the codes, exactly. And it's really the second part that's taught, this one where it starts off with these 6 bullet points, the green infrastructure. And the first one is the most expensive one, the geothermal HVAC system. And Mike, you want to talk about what the capital committee did?
Sure. So the capital committee talked a lot about this one, and actually struggled with this. You know, talked about, you know, is this within our purview? Is this within our scope? And decided it really is. Because while it's too early before there's a design for the building to know what the repay is on this energy, we are confident that there is a repay within the, not just within the life of the building, but probably well within the bonding of the building. So this is a 50-year building that'll be bonded for 30 years. And, you know, it could be that the payback for this you know, green energy or geothermal HVAC system is within 10 or 15 years, but we don't know for sure. It could be 20 years. So without putting a number, the capital committee was confident that the payback on this is going to be worth the investment up front. So we know that it's going to be $700,000 to $800,000 for the geothermal you know, system, and
Is that based on what the boardwalk school did, or how do we know that?
No, it's based on input from our architect.
Okay.
So, and then there's going to be, you know, a couple $100,000 more for the design and the other, you know, the last 5 bullet points on this lower list. So that's where the up to $1 million comes from. So the capital committee voted unanimously in favor of this article because we think it's, you know, a good capital investment, and there'll be a return on that investment, even though we don't know at this time what the payback period will be for the investment. The capital committee was confident that there will be a payback within the bonding time of this project.
You know, Priya and I were talking about it, and one of the things that we kind of came to almost by accident was, but what about obsolescence? So we were actually talking about, it's not just payback, it's what happens if, you know, there are some theories out there that says we will be out of oil in 29 to 30 years. We have a 50-year building. If we have a system built on oil, how are we going to power that building? You know, say the pipelines are indeed, yeah. Long story short, what will it cost us to retrofit a 50-year-old building later to accommodate for a change in either energy technology or fossil fuels? So that was actually more than the payback that we, I don't know if you brought that up with the Capcom.
Well, that really is what we brought up, saying, you know, that whole thing, it's like, and what Mike just said, we don't know how long it's gonna be we don't know what the ROI is. We don't know what that is because we don't know what it's gonna cost. We don't know how much we can save. But it would also be not wise to go into this saying, we need to plan for that, because you know, yes, it's gonna cost more money, And we all know we're going into tough times with this, as far as everything else that's going to happen within the town, as far as, expenditures and taxes and everything else. And so all the capital committee is saying, you should be planning a more cost-effective building, and then let the voters decide, yep, that's what we want to do. And if the voters decide they don't want to, get a cost-effective building because of the fact that we could run out of oil in 30 years, then that's what they choose. However, the capital committee is charged with.
No, you're saying the opposite. What I'm saying is we should spend $1 million now to save a couple $1 million later, or have the building we can't run.
Saying the same thing.
Yeah, we're saying the same thing.
Yeah, we are saying the same thing.
So, I mean, I think we did talk about even for like certain appliances, right? Like, and certain things, you don't get spare parts anymore, like, because it's just, that system is no longer available, right? You have to replace the whole thing. So we talked about that. We also talked about the operating cost, right? Like, operating cost for some of these things are much cheaper than that, and then the servicing cost too is much lower compared to like the other systems in based on anecdotal evidence from other places that we have heard. But I think it's overall, and then there's opportunity for grants. Again, there's upfront cost, but we might have opportunities for grants in the future. Hopefully. We'll see.
Okay. Well, it also goes back to, I don't remember when, because time is so mushy, but we voted a sustainability policy in that all town buildings will meet, sustainability, to the maximum that we can manage. So I just feel like the select board, for all of these reasons, needs to support this. And again, it's a sense of the meeting motion. It's nothing firm yet. But I do think it's an opportunity for the select board to remind everyone about the sustainability policy, which, by the way, when I went on the website, the latest sustainability policy is from 2024, and I could have sworn we voted one in 2025. Am I crazy?
So there are two things. So there's the sustainability charter that the select board voted on last year. It should be on the sustainability committee's webpage, and the select board did approve that. And then the other thing that I believe is we voted within the goals last year. Select board and town administrator goals to consider sustainability in all decisions. So that's another place where the select board voted that a year and a half ago.
Okay. Yeah, a year and a half ago would have been April 2024. That's why I was like, I'm sure we voted something else in the meantime.
Yep.
Okay. I just want to make sure that, because when I wrote a little draft recommendation, and I was referring people back to the town website, but then, Wes, do you see the charter there? Because I might have just missed it. I wasn't looking for the word charter.
So they did present the Boxborough Climate Action Priority Plan, which was spring of '25.
Okay.
So that might be what you were thinking of when they
Is
presented
that on the website though?
Yeah, it's the Climate Action Priority Plan.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Perfect. Okay. All right. Any further discussion on this one?
What's your motion?
No, so I move to recommend.
Move to recommend. Yeah. Well, no, I just figured before I made a motion, I'd ask people.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like, all right. Any discussion from the public? Seeing none. All right. I move to recommend Article 4. And we haven't written a recommendation yet, so I'll write something out and send it around. So
don't send it around.
What?
Don't send it around.
Then I guess you're just going to be stuck with, all right, well then, then what I intended to put in here was that the town is committed to, based on our vote, and I'll reference the vote that we took, that the select board is committed to sustainability and,
that's good. Our consistent,
So
this would be keeping in consistency with our prior actions and votes to
So what's the motion again?
Move to recommend.
To recommend.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'll write a short and sweet.
You're seconding?
Yeah. I'll second it.
All right. Yeah, and it'll just be, you'll have to trust me, it'll be a short and sweet recommendation. Okay, beautiful. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? All right, unanimous. I'm just gonna have a question that's gonna come off as being snippy. Sustainability Committee defers its vote and recommendations to fall town meeting floor. Were they just not able to pull a meeting together? Like, is there a
Yes.
reason?
That's correct. It's just they wanted to, but they just couldn't get one scheduled before.
Okay.
Before it had to go to.
Not
press.
trying to be snippy, I'm just asking the question. Only because sometimes when people see this, they think it's because there's some reticence, that's all. When, you know, okay. So there's no reticence, it's just.
Not at all. In fact, the chair of the State Sustainability Committee was integral in getting the final language
For the fire station.
with the Fire Station Building Committee. And Kate was at the last two meetings working with the committee in getting something that she felt was acceptable to the Fire Station Building Committee, to the town, and to the Sustainability Committee. So they're, as far as I can tell, they're fully on board with this.
Is there any way to write that in the warrant then, you know, due to scheduling conflicts, the Sustainability Committee wasn't able to provide a recommendation prior to the print date?
We should.
Because again, a lot of times you read that and it reads like they didn't want to recommend because they need to learn more.
We can do that.
I believe they're meeting this Thursday, so if that's the only thing, we could plug it in. If it's the only.
You're gonna get hit with a lightning bolt, I'm gonna get back.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said that, but.
If Kelly said it, well, no, I just want to give this as much oomph as we possibly can,
I know.
especially if everyone leaves
But
at
I
9
won't be
o'clock.
here
This
on
will be
Friday,
after
so
9 p.m.
I really need it Thursday night.
I wouldn't have said it because I would have been doing it to you. You did it yourself, so that's fine.
All right, okay,
Thursday
all right.
night, because,
Okay, if all you
and
do
I
is
give
that.
Rajon's help.
Rajon, you okay with that? Teamwork? Okay, so if you could pass that along, because like I said, I just think it just gives it much more oomph if it's all
If
in there.
that doesn't happen, I think it would be good to do what you recommended.
Just soften
which
the
is
sentence.
Due to timing, they were unable, but we'll give a recommendation at town meeting floor.
Thank you.
I think that would help.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
We won't
And
ask for anything else.
On that, one last note on that article, for the Finance Committee discussed that at their last meeting. They'll be voting it tomorrow night. Their discussion of it was very interesting. They were very interested in the green component. They were also very interested in the return on investment. And I'm going to have to report to them. I know at least one or two of them are listening to this meeting, but I'm going to have to report to them tomorrow night that we're not going to have the timing on the return on investment until it's designed, because we can make estimates, but that is all it would be. But
Again, it's not just ROI, it's obsolescence.
right,
You know,
right.
because we are everyone just has to accept it. We are in another critical
Yeah.
turning point in human history with regard to
Right.
energy usage.
I think
50 years is a long time.
Yeah, I think they're gonna come around to support this, just because of all of those things. One, because there's gonna be a return on investment, we just don't have the definite timing of when that is. And there's enough people on the Finance Committee that are in favor of both the green component of this and the fact that it will pay back over time.
And I like to think that if the town takes a step like this, more people will consider it with their personal, do it for your grandchildren, you know?
Mhm.
Do it for your kids. Okay, all right.
Okay, the next article is MBTA Communities Overlay. This will be the first article taken up of night two of town meeting. And, Alec is on, and he could give us a summary of this if you would like. But this, I can tell you as he's.
Does the board feel like we need another summary in this one? Because we have had Al come in and do presentations to us.
Nope, we're okay.
Anybody need a presentation or a comment from Alec? Alec, we love you, but you're off the hook on this one because we think we got it.
Sounds good.
You're okay with that? All right, good. All right. So again, I also attended the public hearings. So people have lots of things to say about this. Does anybody have any comments? No? All right. May as well move to, all right, so let's just move right in.
I had drafted
Yeah, you did. You mailed it
a
out.
statement. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
it's-
because
if it's
can you,
time to be.
We're gonna get into it.
No, it's not in here.
Oh, didn't make it?
1 second.
Yep, we got it.
It's fine. It's too late.
I was just looking for that. I'm like, where's the recommendation?
It's not here.
Did I?
You want to pull it out of email again? Yeah, because I thought it was really well written, Sam.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's not there. It's select board right there.
Do you want to stop sharing and then bring it back up with you?
Yeah, I think it was just in your email.
So while that's coming up, one of the important things to note about this one is that we only have until the end of December to pass this without possibly incurring penalties by the way of not getting state grants. So it's good that we're taking this up in October. You know, we do have a little bit of period, you know, if it should happen to fail, that we could bring it back in December, and that's, you know, one reason why the December town meeting is scheduled. But we are confident that this does have enough support at this point, but you don't know until the votes are cast. So it's really important that people show up to vote on this, however they feel, but know that in addition to increasing housing in town, there is a financial penalty for the town not passing this by the end of December.
And Sam, we will do this first on second night.
I don't care when we do it. I want to add, Mike, in addition to compliance and grant eligibility, I just, for myself, I'm not speaking for the board here, but it's incumbent on the town to do its part to help with
the true sense.
The housing crisis. I mean, that's, and I wrote that in the recommendation. I think this is an important step for the town to take to ensure that we're playing our part, small as it may be, in the big region, to help.
Yeah. And then once this is passed, there's still more work that has to be done as far as, you know, locally, as far as solving the housing crunch. There's a huge gap, you know, in housing, you know, but from the lower to the upper end of housing, yes, where people just cannot afford for seniors to stay in town, for folks to have a starter home, and you know, this should start closing that gap a little bit, but it doesn't do it completely. The housing board, the housing trust, the well-being committee, the town in general, the select board has a lot of work to do, and I know that, you know, Alec and his team, along with the planning board, do plan to continue to address the housing shortage and the housing options shortage even after this passes. So I think you'll see work going into the next year to continue to address this, because it is at a critical shortage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
I try to get along, but the zone is currently defined, doesn't add the ability to add any housing. So everything you just said,
Sorry,
you
what'd
have
you say,
to
Kristen?
say very carefully. The pieces of property that are designated as our overlay are fully developed. So we're going to have to address that. So we're going to have to be really careful if we say it's to provide moderate and low income, or, you know, moderate income housing. This is not going to generate new housing. It designates an area.
It doesn't say moderate to low income housing. It says multifamily housing.
Oh, okay, well, just what Mike just said.
Yeah.
Mike said that there's a need for that. So we're going to have to be very careful not to say that. This puts us into compliance and gives us more time to figure out where do we want additional housing like this.
Without losing state grants.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep.
Alex, do you think that's fair to say that this is just to get us into compliance so we have more time to think about it and plan additional areas for multifamily dwellings?
Yes, in general, that is accurate, but for the sake of full transparency here, I do want to note that the apartment buildings currently in the district, there's 4 of them approximately. Yeah, 4 of them. Those would be eligible for redevelopment at a higher density, so that's considered upzoning of existing multifamily. So approximately 24 units from those apartment buildings could be constructed over time.
Okay.
If somebody was willing to pay a premium to buy them, to knock them down, to rebuild them. So I just think that, again, I try to get along, but in this case, I don't want to be caught out or be called a liar later. That's all. Because the economic realities is nobody's going to pay twice market rate to buy Meanmore, to knock it down, to build something new. So I don't want to mislead the public. This gets us into compliance. That's what this does. It's pie in the sky to say someone's going to knock down Meanmore.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry.
No.
I would just feel really, really guilty if we presented it any other way.
I think that's a, I think
Is
that's
there
a-
something in the select board recommendation that you feel needs to be changed? And I don't feel any personal, you know, I was writing on behalf of the board, so if there's something, you know.
No, because I mean, basically you're stressing compliance, which is what this says, it's compliance. But I think that
And
they're
process,
probably.
and by the way, I think that that's important for me, I just,
Yeah.
for what it's worth.
I think that what I would love to say somewhere in there is that the select board absolutely supports additional multifamily, you know, housing for a myriad of reasons. You know, I think, like, I think the strength of this is to say this gets us into compliance and gives us time to really consider our zoning and to consider areas in town which would support multifamily housing that would achieve the goals. But I mean.
I think we don't want to like overshoot ourselves. Like, let's get into compliance and then we can discuss other things. I think we want to.
I think maybe we just, from the select board's perspective, if people are open to this, just say that this gets us in compliance as to not, whatever, like, put our funding in jeopardy or something to the likes of that. Because if we talk about the housing, that would be obligating another duly elected board, whereas, in my opinion, the purview of this is we would support this from the perspective of not endangering our grantable our ability to receive grants. Outside of that, it's not really our purview in terms of zoning and housing manufacturing.
True. No, you're right. And Sam, to your point, the first paragraph is perfect. You know, and the rest of it just explain, you know, it's just a different way of explaining exactly what it is.
Okay.
So I think the recommendation is great. I just want to be really careful we don't say anything. I don't want to say what you just said, Mike. Because, yes, that's the intent of it.
I think if we just keep the first and third paragraph, that would be from our purview, I guess. Or the first, second, and third?
Candidly, Wes, the fourth paragraph is important to me.
Which one?
The fourth paragraph is important to me. I don't want anyone
No,
to.
okay.
I don't want
Actually,
anyone.
that is really
I don't want
important.
anyone to level a process accusation on this.
Okay, no, that's
article.
fair.
No, because I mean, honestly, Alec, you worked so hard,
Yeah.
you know, to gather input, yeah. And the planning board, all the volunteers, yeah.
Then maybe just say, remove the MBTA.
I think it's fine, but I think we gotta vote on this one.
I don't know.
I agree.
Like, if we took out the second paragraph, because that kind of is like where we're, I don't want to say like it talks about the housing, like the needs for housing, whereas paragraphs 1, 3, and 4 are specifically more to our.
You're saying without the second paragraph, you would vote to
Yeah,
support
no, I
this
mean, like,
article?
because getting to the point of like obligating another board to, or making a promise that we're going to evaluate housing, that's not necessarily our purview. That's mainly where I was.
Yeah, I
coming
don't
from
think the
with
second
that.
paragraph does that, but if that's
it
what
kind
gets
of
you.
alludes to at least how I read it was, it's incumbent on every town to craft local solutions that are tailored to, while serving the greater regional need.
That's what the select board should do.
I
guess.
Yeah.
The town a little.
I think the MBTA Communities Act compliance is an important part of Boxborough's contribution to the solution. But I think that the last end of the sentence, the proposed district is under a mile, et cetera, could actually be tacked on to the last sentence of the first paragraph. And then I'm kind of with Wes on this one. I think that middle paragraph.
It's a
we're not doing
policy.
it.
It's a policy statement, and if the board feels it's outside of the policy purview of the board, that's fine by me. I don't care terribly.
I mean,
I think it's an upside of the district, and we've been hearing downsides of the district, but it's
Well,
it's in a good place.
oh, it's
you know?
exactly where it needs to be. It
Yeah.
just should be bigger. It should actually allow the development of housing, but it doesn't.
So, I mean, if everybody will feel comfortable with the first, third, and the fourth.
And,
I mean-
and we can rewrite it so that the description of the districts vis-a-vis Littleton's
I guess,
district
no, I
stays
guess
there, but-
it was just my first general reading when it talks about the curb the steeply increased prices for housing in the region. That's kind of where, in my head, I was kind of associating it with, like, generating more housing, because naturally my thought process when I think of like steeply increased prices is how do you get more housing? So that's where I guess I was coming from a bit. Reading between the lines, I guess, is the best way to put, like,
I don't,
not that, like, that's where I was coming from, but if I read it like 5 times, then it looks like I understand the more of the
good sign,
policy
the good sign of
statement.
clear writing is you need to read it 5
Read
times.
this 5 times.
Keep going. That's right.
You said thumbs up and you gave me something done.
I think I think as a policy, the select board should do what it should to address the regional issue. I don't care all that strongly
No, it's fine then.
if Wes can support this with or without the second paragraph.
I mean, it's
I'm
fine with the
fine.
first. You can leave it as is.
Okay.
Let the people read it 5 times.
Let the people
They'll
read
be
it.
sitting
Let them
through a
eat
fire
cake.
station debate.
Yeah, let them eat some cake while they're reading that 5 times.
Plenty of time. Yeah.
All right.
We'll buy you coffee while you're reading it. 5 times.
Exactly. We'll start donating to the BCC, or BCT. Okay. All right. So, any further discussion from anybody? Okay. I move to recommend Article 5 and its recommendation.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain. That is unanimous.
All right. Article 6 is a planning board article.
We're not doing anything with that one, right?
Correct. We can
Not
jump
all
right to
This
7.
goes back to Bob's statement. We're not messing where it doesn't really affect the
Right.
whole town. Okay.
Article 7 is to establish an appointed board of assessors.
Okay. We haven't talked about this
Yeah, we have.
as a board. Oh, when I wasn't
No,
here, maybe.
Kristen wasn't here.
Oh, I
No,
wasn't
that
here.
meeting.
That's why. I haven't talked about this. All right, fill me in, everybody.
We all thought it was a good idea. And that's pretty much.
you
and
could
then
end that
I was
sentence.
late in sending Mike the recommendation, and
Do we have to read this one 5 times?
No,
it's,
only 3.
hold on, ready? I'll
Yep.
even read it.
All right,
The
let me hear
select
it.
board unanimously when we had voted or generally sensed
Oh,
it,
yep.
recommends the article. Right now, we have one person making all the critical decisions about property assessments that determine what every resident pays in taxes, which is a lot of responsibility and authority for any one single individual hold without oversight. For example, without a board of assessors, the assessor can, and I should put and does, set the overlay reserve unilaterally. However, if there was a board of assessors, it would require the assessor to get approval from the board of assessors before the money can be levied as taxes. Most of the towns in the area recognized this and years ago and moved to 3-member boards of assessors because it creates better checks and balances, brings multiple perspectives to complex valuation decisions, and gives residents more confidence that assessment appeals are being heard fairly. This isn't about replacing professional staff, continue to do technical and day-to-day work, but rather creating a governance structure that provides proper oversight and accountability.
Right.
That's effectively what.
You're right, it's exactly right. We're just establishing policy, and it's like, there should be checks and balances, and by doing this, we're putting in checks and balances.
Okay. No, I mean, actually, for everything you just said makes absolute sense.
That was the
because-
recommendation.
Yeah, no, that all makes sense. I mean, there always was an appointed board of assessors until the 80s. I mean, I remember the board, so. All right. Any further discussion? Then I move to recommend Article 7 and the recommendation.
Second.
Any further chatting? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? That is unanimous. Thank you. Article 8, amendment to the general bylaw, date of annual town meeting and annual town elections. This is actually our article, isn't it?
Yes.
Bob, did you write this one?
I did.
All right. So do you want to take it since you did the most research on it?
Yeah, basically, this article allows the select board to change the dates, like it says in the summary, because as this year, we're having timing issues with everything that's going on. And so on a year-by-year basis, basically, this bylaw would allow the select board to determine the dates. And basically, we're not going to be pushing them into July or August. We're going to keep them in May and June for everything, but nothing will be done after June. Everything, all of the meetings, whether they be the annual town meeting or whether it be the election, everything's got to be done in May or June. It's just we're allowing the select board to have the flexibility to set the dates. The dates will be publicized, the dates will be discussed, and we're not something that we're going to be doing willy-nilly, as the saying goes, but it's something that we want to have the ability to go forward with. And I think we've all discussed it and said, yeah, there's going to be the time when that could happen. So that's really the gist of it. I can read my recommendation if you want.
I think you basically just did. I mean, you didn't read it out loud, but, but basically you covered what was in it.
The select board recommends this article thereby amending the general bylaws of the town to provide the select board the ability to alter the dates of the annual town meeting and the election of town officers to dates other than the second Monday in May and the third Tuesday in May in order to accommodate special circumstances in that current year only. These new dates for the events must be held by the third Tuesday in June as is the case in this year, 2026, due to a large anticipated attendance of residents attending meetings because of the high-impact decisions made by the resident. For a more detailed explanation, please see the summary about which Mike did, and I think it's excellent. That's it. I just think it's something we need. It's not something we're going to invoke every single year, but I think it's just something, a nice avenue that we could use.
Any further discussion? Dennis, do you have any input? Are you still with us?
Yes.
Anything to add?
I'm still here.
He's sort of
Actually, I disappeared for a while due to technical difficulties. But,
well, we just, as the moderator, we just wanted your input on Article 8. Thoughts about having the flexibility for the dates?
Yeah, this was discussed at BLF, and I think we've touched upon it in the past. This makes perfect sense. I think it gives the select board the necessary flexibility to adjust for circumstances that may occur, like we anticipate for next year.
Could you read all of our recommendations? You're so succinct. It's much appreciated. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, I'd have to be on the select board to do so maybe that can be arranged someday.
Whoa! Would you like my seat?
You take mine.
I'm still trying to figure out the moderator job first.
Okay, all right. Okay, now that we have the moderator's input, are we all ready for any further discussion from anybody? All right, then I move to recommend Article 8 and its recommendation.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? That one's unanimous. All right. So the way I see it, y'all, first night, we're definitely going to go to 10 or 10:30. And second night will most likely be an earlier evening. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, just based on the amount of conversation that we had, it'll probably be a longer first night than we were hoping for. So.
And Dennis, you're going to hold it, is it 10 or 10:30? Dennis, what are you going to hold it to? Oh, hold on.
Oh, we muted you. Your turn.
There we go.
All right, unmuted again. That's a procedural motion that the select board will make at the start of the meeting. That's pretty routine for us, and it's a set time. Often it's 10 or 10:30. And the wording is usually we will not take up a new article of discussion after a certain time, because if you say you set the time, hey, we're not going to do anything after 10 o'clock. All right, last article you start an article at 9:45. Yeah, you're going to see it through, and it might take you to 10 after 10 maybe. Yeah. The way it's worded is you won't take up another article for business that evening after a set time. And it's up to you to decide what you'd like to make that procedural motion say. That's the same set of motions that we include the standard procedural motion to not have reconsideration is one. Setting perhaps oh, we're going to start night 2 with this article, which is what you've already considered this evening. It's another procedural article, and then the timing would be the typical third one you might have on that list.
So Dennis, would you recommend that we say that we're gonna take up Articles 1 and 2, or that we're gonna stop it, as you said, no new article will be taken up after 10 o'clock?
Yeah, and is your intention to start a specific article on the second night, Ben? As I thought.
It was until I realized that the first 4 articles are probably going to take us pretty late. I mean, the reason that we were thinking that we should take up the 2 articles exactly at 7, the Article 1 and Article 5, was to make sure that people showed up for the 2 most important votes that we have to take.
Yeah.
So, but now my concern is, like, say we don't get to Article 4 by 10, where do we put it the next night? Although, again, I don't know what you all think, meaning everybody here, but I still think that the MBTA Communities Overlay District has to get voted, and that we would still, so that we would do the sense of the meeting later.
Later, yep.
What do y'all think?
Article 4 is also a sense of the meeting?
No. Yeah, Article 4 is the green construction standards. I guess I'm just concerned that we won't get through everything.
How about if we do one article sense of the meeting on day 1 and another one on day 2? We could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Sense of the meetings can go long.
I think we should see what time it is.
Yeah, that's why. That's why, like, because if it can go long, right, like, we should probably spread it between the 2 days.
Well, Dennis, we'll need to wordsmith this, but
so is your intent to say, okay, well, there's a couple ways you could do it. You could have a procedural motion first night to say, okay, we'll take up Article 5 as the first article of business on, I want to say Tuesday, no, it's really Wednesday night. We're starting on Tuesday night, on Wednesday night. And then you try to get through 1 through 4 the first night.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So,
Yeah.
so purposely say the first article on the second night will be Article 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, that
Even
was
if
my
you-
plan.
Even if you did, let's say you didn't get to Article 4 on night 1, you'd still start off with Article 5 on Wednesday night and then move to Article 4
Okay.
after that.
It's our choice,
You
though,
haven't got
right?
to it
We can-
because you would have told people ahead of time on Monday, Article 5 is first out of the gate at 7 o'clock on
Like,
Wednesday.
if it can be 11:30 and we can say we're doing Article 4 now. Right, like we can just get
No,
through
because we
the
vote
two
to
sets
not
of
take up
meetings.
any new article after, typically we say we don't
So
take
it
up
would
a
be
new
public-
article after 10 PM.
So we would say 2 things. 1, we're not gonna take up any new articles after 10 o'clock. 2, Article 5 will be the first article we take up on the second night.
Will that take up time on the first night before Article 1?
Mhm. Yes, it will.
Then I don't think we should do that.
We have to do it. We have to do all the procedural motions when we open town
Yeah,
meeting.
procedural motions usually take no more than a few minutes.
Is
Yeah,
that your
yeah, it
question?
usually
Yes,
literally
unanimously.
takes a couple of minutes.
Yeah,
It's
they're
not
usually
hours.
unanimous.
Okay.
Right.
Although shifting the sequence of the articles can sometimes be of concern to some people, but I think in this case, what you're trying to do is ensure attendance for an article that you think deserves a lot of attention and making sure that you can get the largest turnout. Let's face it, your biggest turnout that you can get at town meeting is usually from 7 to around 9.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And once you go beyond 9, you're going to lose people for all kinds of different reasons.
I hear what
So
you're
in the
saying,
past,
Sam.
There's been precedent to basically start an article of.
That's fine, but if we're going to create debate before Article 1 starts, we're putting ourselves.
I don't think we will, because this is a little different. This is basically saying, this is the rule, these are the rules of engagement, just so you know. We're doing Article 1, and we hope to do Article 1 through 4 on night 1, and we're gonna start Article 5 on night 2, and whatever we didn't finish on night 1, we're gonna do after Article 5 on night 2. So it's.
I hope that will be a brief debate.
Okay.
Yeah, and you could get to Article 6 on night. And
Yeah.
just historically, there's been minimal debate on a procedural motion to set the time of an article on night 2.
That's true, Sam.
That's
Usually
fine.
if we say that we are going to
Usually most people understand why, and most
that's
people-
when, we
That's
have an issue.
Yeah, because we're not switching the order of anything.
No.
I don't think this will have, let's just say it, this isn't going to have the same impact of us trying to swap Article 1 and 2 at last year's meeting. This isn't the same thing. This is telling people exactly when they need to be here if they want to engage in a discussion about Article 1 or Article 5.
We're taking them all in order, the way they're printed, and Sam, I think you said it, or Dennis said, it, if we finish Article 4 at 9 o'clock,
We can go to Article 6.
we can go, well,
Yeah, because all we're saying is we're going to take up Article 5 as the
Five,
first
okay.
piece of business on Wednesday. So
Yeah,
we're
so
going to have to be
the-
really
the-
careful, Dennis.
The extreme hypothetical here is that you get through and complete Article 8 on the first night, Tuesday night,
yep,
early, at 9:45.
yep,
And at that point, you're going to say, hey, we're just going to go home, because we already said we're going to take up MBTA tomorrow night at 7, because we want
right.
a lot of people to opine on this, come and vote on it. And you'll get a lot more people at 7 o'clock on Wednesday night than you're going to have in a room probably at 4 to 10 on a Monday,
Yeah, but
hypothetically.
Dennis, my question was, and you kind of answered it but jumped over it. If we get through 4, should we take up 6, 7, and 8
If it's before
on Monday,
10.
on the first night?
Yeah.
If it's before 10 o'clock, why not? Unless, at that point, someone makes a motion to adjourn to tomorrow night.
All right, okay. I just didn't want to Sam's point, I didn't want to start moving the order, and by putting 6, 7, and 8 on Monday night, we're changing the order.
No, we're not.
No,
All
you're
we're doing
not.
is we're
All you
taking
do is
Article
say you're gonna
5
take
out
up
of order.
Article 5
Mhm.
as the first article on
Okay.
Wednesday night.
Great,
The rest of the articles are going in order,
all right, all right.
no matter, no matter
have to be
what,
careful how
if
we
they
word it.
happen on Tuesday or Wednesday night. They're just sequential.
All right, that's fine.
We have done this before, similar to
Yeah.
this.
Yes, we've
Yeah.
done
No,
this,
this-
we've done this.
Yeah, we just have to be careful with the language, that's all.
Okay, well, yeah, just think of this as if you had your larger annual town meeting
Yeah.
warrant, and you're thinking you're gonna end up going, 2.5 nights, say.
Right,
And you had an article that was way down the line, number 30-something.
Yeah,
And you realized, oh, that one, we really should have toward the front. And, typically you would already have figured that out, probably had it toward the beginning, but you say, hey, we're gonna take Article 35 as the first item on
Yeah.
the next night of town meeting, just because you want to make sure you get
the most
a
participation.
large audience for it. You're gonna go through the rest of the warrant as much as you can the first night, regardless of where you fall, and then you're gonna get to the next night and just start that then.
yeah. Again, what we all talked about before is the last thing we want to do is start MBTA when everyone's tired. Let's just put it that way. When we've already had probably 4 articles of a lot of discussion, and to pick up number 5, which is equally important, that'd be tough. So, okay. Next, approval and authorization of the mailing of the fall town meeting warrant. That's an easy one. I move to approve and authorize the mailing of the fall town meeting warrant as it will be amended.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? All right, done. And here's a load of fun. I move to open the special town meeting warrant for December 15th and 16th, 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Do we have any idea of what articles might even be on this one yet? How long do people have to? When are we opening? We're opening now. How long do people have?
Opening it, keeping it open for 2 weeks, and we don't have any that have come in yet. No placeholders or anything yet.
Well, it'll be Fire Station Building Committee will absolutely be one.
Yep.
And possibly the planning board, depending on the MBTA zoning.
Yeah, and possibly an MBTA. Okay. Let's talk about if the Fire Station Building Committee. There's been some discussion on whether you think you'd be actually ready in December, or whether you really need to put this out till January. No,
No idea at this point.
it's too early to tell.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're
It depends
Let's keep
on
pushing for
A
December.
couple of things. Depends on the zoning passing in October,
right.
and then it depends on a site being selected.
Yep.
So if those two things happen rapidly, then it's possible.
So then I don't think we should be closing the warrant until after the fall town meeting. Like, there's no point in closing it in 2 weeks if we really can't make good decisions until after the fall town meeting.
We gotta close it at some point.
Yeah, I
She's
know, but
saying
we
close it at
can't.
the first meeting after the town meeting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we can't close it until after town meeting. We don't know if we need to bring MBTA back. We don't know if the zoning article's gonna pass. We don't know if the fire station building committee will be ready with design, with the request for design.
Is there
So-
time, is there time to close it after?
Well, here's the,
The issue is trying to prepare a warrant to get it
Yeah.
out. I think that in preparing a warrant, I think we'd have to put in a placeholder pretty rapidly for MBTA housing, right? Even though we don't know if it's passed or not, because we can always pull it out. And we put in something for design funding for a fire station, even though we don't know if a site's been selected, because we're gonna have to do those two in January if we can.
so here is this is October, and fall town meeting is
On the 14th and the 15th.
Holy moly.
14th, 15th, and the select board votes its final vote on October 27th, and it needs to go to the printer.
So we only need the December one if the MBTA zoning committee, or
If it fails.
MBTA zoning fails, because we said that we were possibly looking at January.
We only need it for that.
For the
but-
MBTA, yeah.
But if we can set that
So then
date
just
for
put a
the fire
placeholder in
station
it,
building
and then,
committee, then it's worth our while to hold it as long as possible.
Possible, yes.
well, we can just, so we can leave this as is, and so if there's no vote, if there's no need for it, we don't need to have any votes, because we can cancel the town meeting or postpone it at that meeting that we have to do the final votes.
Great.
Yep, I'm okay with that.
Kristen's got to call the vote.
I'm
Yeah.
processing still.
Well, no, we voted. we
I
just
don't,
voted to
I guess
open
I
it.
just see.
No, we haven't. There was a motion and a second. We haven't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, if, I guess, I don't see the point of closing the warrant in 2 weeks when we don't, I mean, we're just doing placeholders. I'm just saying, why even
I mean, what's
close
the,
anything?
No, we're not closing, we're not opening and closing, you just motion to open the warrant. So
But
we
I
have-
asked, when are we closing it, and they said
Oh.
in 2 weeks, and that's my concern. Is it, well, why are we closing it in 2? I'm just saying, let's not close it, let's just leave it open until,
That's fine.
Well, let's
but the
open it now,
motion
and we'll
is,
close it when we close it.
open
right, and we close it when we close it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the purpose of closing it in 2 weeks?
That's fine.
Just
because we'll have to open again though, Mike.
That's my point. I
It's
mean,
like we're left open
usually the
again.
reason for closing it is to
sorry, why are
prevent
we
any
discussing
additional
when we're
articles.
closing it?
What?
Why are we discussing when we're closing
Because it's a
it?
natural question I always ask, when is the warrant being closed? If we're opening it, how long is it open? Because this is the 2-week period that anybody can bring forth a warrant article. And if we close it, technically, nobody can bring a warrant article forward after the day we close it unless we open it again. And if we open it, like, what's the point? So just leave it open until we actually know what's going into the warrant. That's why. We always ask, when are we closing it?
But is the answer, I mean, sure, yeah, okay, yeah.
Well, no, this is just a really weird year.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I don't want it to appear that we're just trying to prevent any other warrant articles coming before us in December. And to me, that's what it says is, oh, you've got this little tiny window, and then it's closed, and the select board is trying to control the warrant. And I'm just very cognizant of people not wanting the select board to control it in that way to prevent communication and conversation.
It seems to me we're all in agreement that it should open
Yep.
Yep.
now.
Yep.
And remain open.
And
Remain open as long as possible.
And we can decide when to close it, when we decide to close it. And it's a good question, but the answer doesn't change whether we open it right now, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But it's something that we always factor in.
Yeah.
That's all. Because
Okay,
you need to
I just was-
understand the entire parameters.
I wasn't clear on what was the, yeah, okay.
No, I think, Sam, what she's trying to do is like let people know that
Yep.
it's not gonna close
Got it.
within 2 weeks, so you don't have to rush and like
Yeah, okay,
try to
perfect.
get your in.
All right, excellent.
Yep.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? That one's unanimous. Town administrator and select board goals. So this came up for a couple of reasons. We were gonna work on it anyway, because it's part of us planning the next year. But it also came up as part of the tri-board meeting that the school committee is putting together. Adam, do you want to speak to that a little bit, since you guys called for the tri-board meeting?
Sure. I mentioned a little earlier this evening that the goal is for all of the entities involved, so the select boards from both towns, the finance committees from both towns, and the school committee, to share a little bit about what the goals or what their strategy is, what they're working on for this year, and then what their goals are to achieve that. Because we all are working on some fairly large things, and I think it's important for each of the entities to share that with the others. And then the other part here is to find what are some of the strategies that are aligned between all of the entities, so as we go back to our voters, particularly in the second half of the year and towards town meeting, we can have sort of a unified front about some of our messaging. So I think the opportunity here is to say, each group is working on these things, this is how we're trying to achieve that, and where's the commonality, so that as we go out and talk to voters and talk to townspeople, we can share a message that is unified across all of our needs.
And the chairs of the boards kind of kicked it off with a little meet and greet. Unfortunately, our FinCom wasn't able to attend, but Regional School Committee, the two select boards, the Acton FinCom met. Just again, I thought it was a great exercise to kind of get to know Acton a little bit better. And for them to learn a little bit more about Boxborough. So the way I'm kind of looking at this is almost like an escalated BLF. Like BLF, we all get together to talk about, you know, what's going on in different aspects of the town. This just elevates that to an Acton Boxborough forum where we can all share information. So to that end, BLF is September 30th. And one of the things that I was hoping this board could do before then is to some degree prioritize, you know, create a hierarchy of needs, for lack of a better way of expressing it. What is most important for us to achieve this year and in the next couple of years that we would want to then share with Acton so they can have an understanding of our holistic situation and not just, you know, the region, which is the only place we actually truly overlap.
Well, right, I think the priority is to understand the region's budget. I mean, that's a driving force in our budget.
We need to take it higher than that. It's not just money. This is understanding goals and objectives for the community. This is not a financial hierarchy of needs. This is more what is important to the town and how are we going to work together to achieve it. So, because I think, I hear what you're saying. It's really easy to say, well, we can't make any decisions until we know what the school is doing, but that's actually not true. We have to make decisions. Our job sitting here is to make decisions on what's best for Boxborough. So having a clear understanding of what that is, in where do our priorities need to be, and then how do we mesh that with whatever it is that the region says is important to them. You know, and this is, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Adam, but a lot of this is about understanding each other's needs. We're not going to agree. This isn't a, you know, we're not going to agree, but at least we can come to understanding of each other's positions. Because Acton is in a very similar position to us right now. They're looking at a $35 to $40 million DPW building. They're looking at significant staffing cuts. They've had, you know, their finances are very, very similar to ours, very, very similar to the regions. All three of our budgets are in a similar place right now. And so being able to have open discussions, I think, is going to be really big.
Right, and I understand what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying. That financial is one part of it. It might be the largest part, but it is a part.
It's the deciding factor.
Yeah, but you're right. It is a part of what's the direction of the town. You know, for us, you know, I think we can all say, you know, getting a fire station is right up there. Mm-hmm. You know, is that the largest financial impact? I don't know. You know, it might be and it might not be, but it is right up there.
One question came up Thursday night at the Civic Academy that Rajan is putting on, and then it resounded with two people, and it's almost knocked me out of my chair. Question. Well, it was actually a statement. So there were the 8 participants in the Civic Academy were very engaged, very interested. They're there to learn, but some of their impressions that they came with floored me. And so one person said, you know, I'm a senior. The only thing I get from this town is an undersized community center. And that kind of blew me away to the point that I couldn't even respond appropriately right away. And then someone else chimed in and said, yeah, all the money goes to the school, I don't have any children in the school anymore, you know, and I'm not getting anything from the community. And I have to say, those statements kind of blew me away, and it wasn't, they weren't attacking, it wasn't anti-school sentiment. In fact, there were, I think more than half of the people there were retired school employees. I don't know from here or where, but as I thought about that, I think it's, I guess where I'm going is communication is going to be a big piece of what we need to do. And as I think about, you know, seniors in the community, I do not have children in the school system anymore. My children all came through public school system, school district, and I continue to think about the value that they drew from the school, the value that I got when I came through public school. And I made a commitment back then to never forget the importance of school. It drives your home values. It drives the future of leaders of the community. But also, when I was, you know, when the statement came out, you know, all I get from this town is an undersized community center. That's a little bit hurtful because the roads are paved, the roads are plowed, police and fire respond to emergencies. We have a human services department that responds to the needs of people in the community. We have all kinds of public services, and it's, you know, I think people need to remember what they draw from the school system, what the school system continues to do for the value of the community, but also all the other, you know, varied services that people do respond. So I think it's going to be important somewhere in our goals that we communicate to the community what you're getting. So it's not just I pay all this money and I get nothing. And that's what I heard, and maybe I was overhearing and I was being sensitive to that, but it really struck me.
I think with that is an opportunity to hear who feels they are underserved. So I don't actually see that as a negative on the school. What I hear is, I feel underserved. And I hear what you're saying too. You know, if you have a medical emergency, we're going to be there. And if you need to get home in a snowstorm, we're going to be there. And, you know, all of that. But that's an underserved community member. And how do we address that? And it's not always money that you need to use to address it. So, okay. All right. Well, these are the kind of things that we need to prioritize.
And I guess one of the things that I was hearing, I was glad that Rajan provided an opportunity where people could speak freely.
Yeah.
And there were people there to hear. And that's why I'm bringing this back. Mm-hmm. You know, these were sincere messages that were being delivered, and I wanted it to come out here while we're talking about goals. What we take from that, I'm not sure, but I think I think there's some value in there. Yeah. But I just got to sort out what that is and how we meet that need or that you know, what's being said.
Mike, I think you said it's really communication. I mean, if the person, you know, never used the fire department, never used the police department, and never drove a car, that doesn't mean it's not important.
Right. Yeah.
For the town. It just means that person never did it. So it's like, sir, ma'am, we understand you've never used the fire, you've never used the police, and you've never driven on the roads. However, we still have to provide it because we are providing services to other residents of the town. And it's not that you're not important, but it's just that we have to provide to the other residents of the town. And so I just think, you know, we're not ignoring it. It just goes back to your word, communication. Adam?
Thanks. You know, Mike, you bring up a really good point, and you know, I think we all sort of operate in our bubbles, right? I don't have kids in the schools, or I'm all involved in the schools, and I think one of the things that might be really helpful is to think about what are some of the services or things that the town hasn't been able to provide or has to deprioritize. A lot of those decisions happen in a meeting where there's one person in the audience or a finance committee meeting that's similarly attended, and so, you know, in your bubble, everyone in the school bubble knows that we've cut tons and tons of teachers over the past 4 years, but maybe don't know what town services have been deprioritized, what capital projects haven't been done, because we've been trying to sort of manage the difficulty that we have. And I think that's one of the things that would be really helpful to understand. What is the strategy? What are the goals of the town? And what are some of those things that you're struggling to get done because of sort of all of the financial constraints, all of the other constraints that we have? And, you know, rightfully so, what are the core functions of government? Right. And how do those each service each of the different people? And I think one of the things that we're starting to see is that in our core services of public government, the biggest challenge we have is our worker conditions. And we look at that across everywhere, right? Our fire station has terrible worker conditions for the fire staff. Our schools are beginning to have difficult conditions for the teachers because they're overburdened with more and more activities and less resources. DPW in Acton is a very, you know, it's a difficult place for those workers as well. So, you know, what we're trying to find is that Venn diagram of what each of these entities is responsible for doing, what they're struggling getting done given the current situation, and where does all of that meet in terms of how we deliver those services to our community. So that's kind of the question that we have, is how do we communicate to everybody? So how do we say to the senior who doesn't have kids in schools why the schools are important, what that challenge is? Equally, what do we say to the person who lives in, let's say, you know, a housing development right off 495 that doesn't drive into the center of Boxborough at all and has HOA fees or rental fees that covers their plowing? Why is it important to have the DPW? They don't even take their stuff to the transfer station. Sort of understanding the full service of the public government and how that affects every resident, and that it all needs to be functioning together, and where we've made trade-offs over the past few years just to sort of keep things afloat.
No, Adam, I agree, and I'm going to say something, and I'm not putting work on the finance committee, because the finance committee has done it every single year. One of the slides they do is they show a pie chart of the budget of, you know, how much is public service, how much is town administration, how much is school. I think if they could expand that pie chart a little more to break it down, I think that would help people as well. So to your comment, a person would understand that 20% is going to DPW, making up numbers, I have no idea, and then, you know, and 50% is going to school, and so, you know, and 12% is going to the senior center, something like that, that they would understand that there is a portion going to the senior center, and there is a portion going to DPW, and there is a portion going to the schools.
I think we shouldn't go with, like, I mean, that's the finance committees, that where they're putting the thing. I think it should come from us, not really showing 50% for the schools and then 20% for this. We should just show what exactly we have, the different services, and what they offer, right? I think it's like we should take that part off. That part they get to see during the finance committee presentation. So, but at the same time, from a select board side, I think we need to be the ones telling them what are all the services available for seniors, what are the services that we offer for, like, the kids, right? Like different things, and how to avail those, and not everything will be utilized by every citizen in town.
Right.
Right.
I think the message is there is something for everybody.
Yeah.
Do you play pickleball? Do you walk on conservation trails? Do you, you know?
As a resident, I want to know aspirationally, what do you see as the next thing that we need for the town? What are those other things that we're prioritizing, right? Because we're all in fire station mode right now, but what happens when that's done? What's the next thing that we want to be thinking about?
Oh, I have a list,
right?
Adam. Don't you worry. I have a list.
How are we going to get rid of the knotweed? How are we going to, you know, manage invasive species and you know, build more playing fields? All those are the things that I think that the select board can help at least drive the vision. Now, we're not saying you need to say that they're all going to happen, but that's the kind of thing where we can say, here's the vision, and now here are some of the struggles we're having to achieve that vision, because that's where we're all sort of hung up on right now.
No, you're right, and in a sense, you know, that's really why the capital committee was formed, so that we could have long-range planning, so that the town would know when we got to buy a new fire truck, or when we got to do painting of the town hall. You know, that's exactly what you just said. It's just long range. This is what's current, but we were also planning for 5 years and 10 years down the road.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned knotweed, because before the beginning of August of this year, I'd only heard of it, and I never would have thought of putting it in our goals. It's something that I wrote into just a laundry list of ideas just to toss around, is starting to have a plan to control invasive species, because I think it's something we need to think about. And maybe it doesn't end up in, you know, our list of 10 goals, or maybe it's a long term, but I think it's come up enough and it's gained enough traction that is something that the community wants to look at moving forward. Now, we did hear on Thursday night from a fair number of the attendees at Civic Academy that they want the town to start thinking about the community center. So, you know, I took that in, and, you know, I think it's up to us to at least think about it. It is on the long-term goals list from last year, but that's another one of those ones. And we know earlier this evening, you know, the future police department, you know, project is going to be somewhere on the horizon, and so that's another one that's on the horizon. And you're right, it's tough to think about those things right now because of the mountain we're climbing, you know, currently with a fire station. But we need to.
So I think there's actually two things that we need to work on. One is your goals for the year, which is tied to your performance review and your compensation package. And then we have to think about what are the core services of public government? You know, what do we actually have, and what would we like to see? You know, what's our vision? So I actually think it's two different things that we have to work on.
I don't.
You don't?
No, I think.
But your goals are tactical and practical. These are visionary.
So the whole purpose of the town administrator is to execute on the goals of the select board and the vision and plan. And so while some of those, like our general thing would be, our goals are sustainability. And so if that is then tackling the knotweed problem or the poison ivy or whatever, mustard garlic or something like that.
Make a list.
No, mustard
Purple
garlic is
loosestrife.
such a pain.
Yeah.
Those are the things that then either we can create individual tasks or the town administrator can align the actions for the year for which he's evaluated based on aligning what those goals are in accordance with the priorities of the select board. So like if we say sustainability or the fire station, historically that one was its own thing because it's a single time item. You have your longer range goals like sustainability, what's that called, succession planning, like mentoring,
Right.
those types of things. Those are what that is, or those are kind of the guiding principles, and Mike's actions on the day-to-day should be aligning to those, or at least be tangential.
Yeah, I think if we sit here and decide, here's what the town really needs as a whole. What are the most important things, no matter how big or how difficult they are, if they're that important, we should set those right out in front of us and say, these are the things that we need to move towards. And I think from the board, from a policy setting standpoint, and the administration from an operational standpoint, if we can come together on those policy goals and drive the things that are most important to the town, then I think we're accomplishing what we're here to do.
Okay, well then I'm going to task everybody with homework, and that I think that we need to plan on spending an hour on this at our next meeting. And I don't want any eye rolling about I want to go home early. Not a bit, because I think that we don't have a lot of time this year. We have 3 town meetings. We are not going to have a lot of time to spend on this. And if we don't do it now, we may as well not do it at all. You know what I mean? Because the year is just going to fly by.
And if it, you know, last year and the year
That was my mom
before,
voice.
I think it took us 3 or 4 meetings to set the town goals. I think that's all right, because there are plenty of things that we accomplished last year, and there are still some things that are in work, and then some that we haven't even been able to start yet. And I think that's okay, because we set big goals. So if it takes us 2 or 3 or 4 meetings to set next year's goals, there's still things we can be working on in the meantime. So I think that's all right.
Yeah.
And if there's ones that are pressing that aren't on the list, then maybe we need to get those on and say, hey, you know what? Let's get to this one right away while we're working on the rest of our set of goals. I think that's all right too.
Right, and this, you know, here are the goals right here. I mean, this is exactly what you're talking about. You know, the recruitedness and access, you know, the second one, the fire chief and the finance director, you know, there are items that are done there, and there are items that are in work, and that's exactly what you're talking about. That's exactly what you just said. Some of these done items come off the list. The other ones that we're working on, you know, the water line extension, I'm just jumping all over the place. The water line extension is in work. that is important to us, and it really is. So, I don't think this is in order of importance. It's just items that have to be worked on, and we're going to add to that list.
Right, well, that's the homework, is that for our next meeting, people come back with what they believe. We were all elected, right? We represent the whole town. So if everybody comes back with their list of what they think they were elected to achieve for this town, or what they think the constituency wants, that will give us a place to start.
I agree. That's it.
And then we prioritize as a group. And I kind of like the tri-board. I love the tri-board meeting, because I know that when I would go to the budget meetings that the school was having, I had no idea. I didn't know who the people were. I didn't know what their positions were. It's great for us to all get to know each other. It's no promise of anything beyond getting to know each other. But I like the fact that if we're going to meet on the 22nd of October, we have a deadline to have, because Acton's ahead of it. Acton already has this. The school has this to some degree. We don't, and I think it's part of that whole conversation. So, the other piece of it is BLF is September 30th?
That's what you said earlier, but other than that, I don't know.
All right, September 30th. So what goes hand in hand with that is if we could have, at least at our next meeting, some sort of a draft list that can go to BLF, because again, that's another way to get a lot of people's input, is from all the other boards and commissions. And the other thing that I have asked Mike to do is, because we have so much going on, and we now have a huge volunteer pool, if you think about it, is having the State Ethics Commission come in and Zoom with BLF, and hopefully we get maximum participation, so everyone can understand what they can and can't do as public servants, whether you're elected or appointed or you're paid or you're not, exactly how can you participate in the next year, because we all keep talking about communication and advocacy, but we want to do it legally so that we can actually get the messages out that we want. So I don't know if you had a chance to talk to.
I reached out to them. I'm waiting for an answer back.
Okay.
On if they can do that evening.
They did it, just for anyone who didn't know this, they did do this for the Fire Station Building Committee. They would Zoom in. They're not going to come and be with us. There is a recording, but I'm just going to put my head in the chopping block. I know that I will spend 45 minutes watching and learning that Secretary of State, and I will fold laundry, bake cookies, walk the dog. I will probably do anything else but pay attention. So I personally need them to come and present to us. I'm just going to throw it out there. Because that's what Mike said, is you can all just watch the recording for the Fire Station Building Committee, and I'm like, and I'll bet you 10 out of 100 people will do that. But, so yes, so I'm hoping that they can make it and we can participate. All right, when is our next meeting for Select Board?
September 22nd.
September 22nd. All right, so nicely done. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Bob, for showing me where it was. So for September 22nd, if everybody could have, and it could be one thing, it could be 30 things. It doesn't really matter, but bring something back to the board that you feel is important for the town to achieve in the next near term. I would appreciate that. And in the meantime, I think we take off the dones and start building the do's.
Yep, agree.
I'm big into my kindergarten words today. Reports and announcements. We've done a lot of it already. We'll start at the end. Kelly, you're going to let sustainability come back in Thursday night, and you're going to get that warrant out to the printer. You and Rajan are doing that. Everything goes to the printer Friday morning. Anything else you want us to know? No. Rajan, how are you? What's going on?
Yeah, so this past Thursday, we kicked off the first session of Civic Academy. Have about 8 participants who are going to be part of the weekly courses for that. So this first session, we kicked off with an introduction and overview of the town of Boxborough, and then this upcoming Thursday is going to be with the Sergeant Memorial Library with Payshawn Bartley and Mary Brolin, I believe, will be doing a presentation on that one.
Excellent. All right.
Oh, this coming Thursday?
Do you have a Fire Station Building Committee meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, then Mary probably won't be there.
Mary
If not Mary, then it'll probably be somebody else.
Oh,
or
okay.
Or Payshawn will probably take care of it. But normally it's a representative from the Library Board of Trustees.
Okay. Mike, what do you got?
Okay, just a couple announcements. Bicycle ride coming up, and this is on September 20th, 8:30 to noon. It's a ride to defeat ALS. bicycle ride passing through Boxborough. No expected road closures. The roads where cyclists will be are Codman Hill Road, Swanson Road, Beaverbrook Road, Liberty Square Road, Mass Ave, and Summer Road.
Oh, that's a different one.
Yes.
That's
this-
it. Oh, okay,
this
that's
is
a
another
different
one.
bike
Yeah,
ride.
there's
Okay.
3 different ones that we've had so far. There was Bikes to Bombs and Bombs to Bikes, or whatever it is. But yeah, this is the Ride to Defeat ALS.
Okay.
Reminder announcement that the Boxborough Museum will be open from 2 to 4 p.m. Sunday, September 14th at 575 Middle Road. And then one other announcement is that we still have our interim assessor, and he's on contract to be with us through the 17th of this month, but we are planning to keep him longer. He's willing to stay longer, and it's going well, and we think that gives us more time to do the recruitment. We haven't started that yet. We've held off until the end of this month, because I think having the consistency of having Jim in doing this through the tax rate setting in mid-November makes a lot of sense.
Oh, heck yeah.
And then bring in our new principal assessor after that. And then after that, we'll also know how the town has voted on the Board of Assessors, and we think that'd be good to know that and have that in place before bringing in a permanent assessor.
What do y'all
That's all
think?
I have.
I think it's a great, I think it's a great idea. I think once the town votes on the Board of Assessors versus the assessor, Rajan, the personnel plan will have to be updated as far as the job description, and I think that makes total sense. You want to do that first, and so that the person, when interviewed, knows who their boss is.
Mike, that in terms of cost, is that within the assessor
It is.
salary? We are not going over?
Yep, it's still, we just have to move money from one place to another,
Another,
but it's
okay.
within what's been budgeted.
Budgeted, okay.
Yep.
Good question.
Mhm.
Anybody else? No? Okay, I really only had the meeting that I took with the with Acton and then with the region. So otherwise, I pretty much already reported on that one. Next.
The only one I got is, people who might have seen it, is just that the, believe it or not, the connection between Swanson Road and Codman Hill water line has been made. So they are in the process of testing it. The state came through and made the connection of the water line, again, from Swanson Road to Codman Hill, and in the process of testing the Codman Hill section. That's all I got.
And the exciting news that you may have already seen is that the pipeline has come across the bridge. And that was not part of the initial plan, but it's not
No.
connected, but it's,
But they ran it.
it's run.
That's a big deal. Thank you, Littleton. Wes?
The new Blanchard playground is open.
Oh, yes.
Oh my goodness!
They
Really?
had the ribbon cutting last week, I think.
Last week,
Yeah.
I know, I wanted to go, I couldn't
Yeah,
get
I wanted
home
to
one
too.
time, 4 to 5.
Don't worry, I was there.
Oh, good. Oh my God! All right, you all have children. My grandchildren haven't said a peep about it. What are your kids saying? Are they excited?
I mean, they just come home and say, whatever.
The kids, they don't want to say.
Okay. All right. Okay. Sam, do you
The
have
seesaw is crazy.
Are we allowed to have seesaws anymore? Oh my goodness.
No, it's like a seesaw the size of a pickup truck.
Oh.
It is crazy.
We have one more announcement.
Oh, yeah.
This Thursday at 9/11 on.
Oh, that's right.
We'll be doing the 9/11 remembrance over in front of the fire station. So.
What time is that?
9/11.
No, what time?
Time of day.
Oh, it's gonna be, but this Thursday at 9/11.
It is at
9/11
9/11. It is. It is
It's 9/11.
Oh, dawn breaks over Marblehead. Okay, thank you,
I
Rosa.
didn't get that either.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm like, am I just being stupid?
No, it's 9/11
Yes, I
a.m.
was. All right, at 9
11 on 9/11.
on September 11th
There you go.
at 9/11, we will have a memorial.
Right.
Okay,
Uh,
and all are invited, I'm assuming.
Yes.
It's open to the community, and we have it on the front page of where parking would be available.
Excellent. Okay. All righty. Sounds good. And who's running that? The fire station?
It's both fire and police.
Fire and police are running it. Okay. All right. Put that in my calendar. Priya.
Last meeting, I think we voted on most of the articles, the zoning articles, and then we have a listening session coming up on September 17th. That'll be in the Grange, 10 o'clock and 7 o'clock. And then we also have a coordinated session with ALEC on September 29th for the MBTA communities as well as the Fire Station Building Committee. That'll be at the Sergeant Memorial. And that's 5 o'clock, I want to say. Is it September 29th, 5:30. I
What time?
can't remember the time,
You don't remember
exact
that?
time, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I just want you all to know that I just put the 9/11 in at 9 a.m. so that when I'm late, I'm there by 9/11. That's all I just wanted everyone to know. You should all put it in your calendars.
Good job.
Thank you. Oh, I didn't save it, but I'll fix that. Sam?
Two quick things. The Water Resources Committee's report on the town water supply is still on their website. They're going to consider all public input at their meeting next week. I think it's on the 17th. So if anyone's interested, weigh in there. And in addition, the Economic Development Committee had a meeting last week on Thursday, and they are moving forward with a Village Center Day, which is tentatively scheduled. Well, I think pretty firmly scheduled for October 18th. So keep your heads up for that.
Yeah, I had, Dennis, are you still on? Grab Abby.
Yeah,
No?
I talked to Abby today.
Abby there?
Hopefully I can answer questions.
Okay, cool. Well, no, so the PTF reached out through me to find out more about Village Center Day. I reached out to Abby, and what she said, it was really more of a business forward event. But in order to get community involvement, it was like, okay, how does it get opened up to bring more people in? You know, so because the PTF was asking how they could participate.
Yeah, I think they're not going to have. It's not going to be like, you know, like Pfeiffer's Day where there's tents for whoever wants to show up. They're not going to take, you know, fees for it or anything like that. But in terms of engaging and driving people to come and driving engagement, I think the PTF certainly could play a role. So I think that's the message Abby delivered. But
Perfect.
You can ask her if I'm wrong.
No, this was literally text messaging. And
Yeah.
when I said, hey, PTF wants to know if they can participate, and she's like, oh, it's really business centered, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So you basically,
Pretty much.
Yep, we'll figure it out.
Pretty much.
Okay, but the idea is to engage as many people. So Sam, is the idea for people to get to know the different businesses that currently exist in Boxborough?
Yeah, and do a little bit of visioning and over, you know, the town center project.
Very cool. Okay.
I think we'll hear more about it at the next select board meeting. I think we should consider putting on the agenda something about the thing. But
Oh, good idea. Yeah, add that to the
but
agenda.
a lot of the details are still sort of coming together. So I don't want to get too much into it. But
It's exciting
I think
now.
in 2
Good.
weeks we can talk more.
That's awesome. All right. Excellent. No, I think it'll be fun too.
Yeah.
Anybody have anything else?
Just a real quick one, if anybody goes to the transfer station on a regular basis, there is the new employee has been hired up there. He was an employee from the past, and he is excited to be taking on his duties at the transfer stations on Wednesdays and Saturdays. His name is Greg Bogle.
Oh, Greg and I went to high school together.
Yes. He mentioned that.
I was very nice.
I wasn't going to bring that up, but we'll bring that. As long as you open that door, I can walk through.
I'm a very, very nice person. She says really loudly as she stamps her feet. Anyway, okay. Well, while we're talking about the transfer station, you all should have gotten the letter that somebody submitted saying that.
Mark Marlowe.
What's that?
Mark Marlowe, I think.
Yeah, that a little upset to see contractors coming in and disposing of materials. And he commented that he saw 4 pickup trucks, all clearly bringing debris from the same place, dumping stuff. So, thoughts?
Yes. So
We've been talking about this for.
I know, that's why I was like, well, no, but I mean, go ahead.
So I did meet with the DPW director this morning. He received the same email. He was going to go back and review the videos because they do have surveillance there and see what was coming in.
Interesting, I didn't know there was video.
Yep. And if.
That's true, it's everywhere,
If people,
that's true.
every now and again, I do get reports that, somebody saw something going on, either somebody with no sticker or somebody with a pickup truck bringing stuff, and, they can either, report that, get a license plate, or tell me what time it was, or better yet, take it right to the DPW director, and he'll look at it and look into it. Does the person have a sticker? Because, we do have contractors who are residents in town, and they are allowed to bring, a pickup truck with debris. There are certain things they can't bring, and that's one of the things that Ed was going to be looking at today on the video.
Sheetrock.
Is it a truck full of sheetrock? Is it a truck full of pressure-treated, cut-off, stuff like that? Does it look like a house demolition or an entire deck or whatever, that contract? And that's a little different than somebody cleaning out their garage and using their resident pass to go. But he's reviewing that to find out, because, what is seen or what somebody thinks they see may not be the actuality, or it might be. We need to follow up with that license plate on the video and go and contact that person, say, please don't come here again with your commercial debris, or get a sticker, or we can go back tomorrow.
Why can't we slap them with a fine? I mean, if we know that they really didn't.
I just want to make sure that this is like a announcement and not debate on a new topic. That's not on the agenda.
Yeah, good point.
Well, basically, all right, so let's
I'm
all
saying that
think
when you
about
start getting
how.
back and
No, you're right,
forth-
no, you're right.
Let's all think about how we should address this then. The citizen gave us some suggestions, and, all right, so if we could put this on the agenda for the next meeting, potential solutions, and if you want to invite Ed in to talk to us about
I
it.
already have.
Excellent,
I told him,
excellent.
I guarantee we'll be talking about this in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so plan on being at the meeting, so he will be.
Excellent.
And by that time, I'll also have the results of the fee analysis that our intern did this summer, and I think that may be helpful.
And where are we with the grant? Wasn't that one of the things for the sustainability committee? Ian was supposed to be working with that one, right? There was someone that was going to come and look at things and give us recommendations.
Yes, and at the same meeting, why don't I have Ian or Alec come in or at least bring their input from that. I know that grant application went in, and but I haven't gotten a status update on it recently, so I'll get that.
Awesome. All right, so everyone should be thinking about all of that. Okay. All right, anything else in terms of reports and announcements? You opened that can of worms. Just want to point that out. All right, minutes. Did everybody have a chance to read the August 28th minutes? And is there any questions, comments, or edits?
I looked at them, I have no comments or questions about them.
Yep, I thought they were great. Anybody else? All right. I move to approve the minutes of August 28th, 2025 as written.
25th.
It says 28 right here, August 28th, 2025. Oh, I'm just reading my motion. Okay.
The wrong date.
Which one, is it 25 or 28?
Yeah, okay. I move to approve the minutes of August 25th, 2025, not August 28th, because we were not here on that day.
I second that.
That was the fire station building committee, I think.
It was.
No worries,
I get the
that's all right.
Yep, we caught it.
We caught it, we fixed it, we're all good.
Yep.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Unanimously approved. All right, we are moving into executive session now, so I'm going to go ahead and read the motion. Good night, thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
I move that the select board move into executive session pursuant to MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to all ongoing litigation matters involving the town, where discussion in open session may have a detrimental effect on the town's legal position, and not to reconvene in open session.
I'll second that.
Roll call vote. We'll start at the end. Sam?
Anderson, aye.
Priya?
So that am I.
Wes?
Folks,
Bob?
Stemple, aye.
And Hilberg, aye. All right, see you across the hall.
Thank you.